In my own criteria, the world can be divided into three types: heroes, ordinary people, and villains. However, not every hero is known to the public. And ordinary people aren't exactly mundane, so no one can claim that just because someone is a villain, they must be a bad person. Though some people will always force that label on them. You want to ask who I am? Seong-hoon smiled mysteriously and declared, "Without a doubt, I'm a villain." Just then, a light from the sky shone down, forcing everyone to shield their eyes. BLPCOK frowned, looking toward the sun with a grimace of annoyance. Ugh, what the hell is this? Mina, standing behind, was also suspicious. What is that? Seong-hoon blinked, confused. Where are we? In another corner, Jang Seok reached out, trying to steady the group. Everyone stop panicking, just calm down. We need to stay calm so we can— But Beop Seok lost his composure and shouted, Calm down? Calm down for what the hell? He lunged forward, grabbing Seok by the collar and forcing him back. Damn it! Are you the one who kidnapped all of us? Seong-hoon and Mina watched, startled. Seok exhaled sharply, then grabbed the arm that was clutching his collar. He pulled the guy down and delivered a knee strike straight to his gut. Beop Seok cried out in pain. He sat on the floor, clutching his stomach, looking up with furious eyes. You bastard! Seok reached out his hand again, leaving Beop Seok looking suspicious. Then he explained calmly, I'm Jang Seok. I'm not sure what's going on here either. But I just woke up not too long ago myself. Just like the rest of you. So please stop the baseless accusations. Below him, the guy still hadn't calmed down. He jumped up and lunged again. What a load of crap! You want us to believe that? Seok's expression darkened with anger. Beop Seok also glared back without a hint of respect. Seeing them so tense, a guy nearby stammered as he approached. My name is Yu Seong-hoon. She pointed to herself as well. I'm Mina. Seeing them like this, Pucheol looked on, holding his head and groaning. Damn it, what the hell is happening? I'm Shin Pucheol. Suddenly, a series of blue lights flashed, and a system interface appeared right in front of him, making his eyes widen in shock. What is this? The screen displayed, Training Mission, Introduce Yourself. In progress. Reward. Mina waved her hand in front of the system screen, bewildered. Please tell me I'm not the only one seeing something really weird, right? Beop Seok rubbed his eyes and complained, Ha, damn it, did I drink too much last night? I'm seeing something really weird too. Only then did she look up. Wait. Everyone sees a window with a mission on it right in front of them, right? Jang Seok stroked his chin, concluding, Exactly. So what is going on here? I think we should discuss this right now. Hearing that, Pucheol glared at him angrily. You bastard! Why are you suddenly trying to act like the leader? Beside him, Mina challenged the guy. Cut it out! Understanding our current situation is more important than arguing about stuff like that. He clenched his fists, grinding his teeth. Damn it, since when do high schoolers like you get so confident? Just then, Seong-hoon spoke up. I think you should be quiet for a second. Seeing him talk back, Pucheol was furious. What, you bastard? Why are you suddenly acting up? Hai ignored him and pointed toward a sound over there. A pitch-black hand gripped the wooden planks, sending splinters falling to the ground. The creature's foot dragged along the floor, covered in wounds, its skin decomposing to reveal muscle and bone, groaning, Grr, grr. It charged through the door, screaming as it lunged at the group. Beop Seok and Mina sank to the floor in panic. What the hell do they want us to do? Jang Seok looked at them. Everyone, calm down. The system board displayed a notification. Reward conditions. 1. Survival. Complete if you stay in the building for 1 day, or are the last one alive. 2. Massacre. Complete if you kill everyone controlled by the demonic spirits. 3. Escape. Complete if you escape through the emergency exit. Survival is not guaranteed. Jang Seok warned this group, we shouldn't panic in this situation. Beop Seok lost his cool. Quit the bullshit. How can we stay calm in a situation like this? He kept urging them. Stop it. This isn't the time for infighting. Behind him, Seong-hoon watched, holding his forehead. The door was being pounded on more violently. He shouted urgently. We have to block that door first. If they break through— The monster roared, trying to burst out of the door, completely crazed. Suddenly, a fist flew toward the monster's face. It was Jang Seok's punch, landing straight on the monster's face. The creature stood still, swaying. Seok glanced at it warily, thinking to himself, This bastard. It's weak. Then, he turned to the group, urging them. Everyone grab something. There's only one of them. If we all attack, we can kill it. The other two heard him and looked around. Mina muttered, Weapon? 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 Up above, a camera tracked their movements. A dark room was shown on a screen. Inside the surveillance room, with massive screens glowing bright blue, the man behind them raised his coffee cup, watching the monitors. So it started. The system monitor replied, Yes, the final training session has just begun. The white-haired man narrowed his eyes and praised, Oh, these people are quite special, aren't they? Inside the room, the group was still fighting. Seok-hoon watched the monster following them, then set his coffee down with a hint of regret. I couldn't say what happened, as I only started watching halfway through. Why did they start so early? The supervisor pointed at the screen. Sir, do you see that blonde guy over there? He replayed the footage of Beauty Up waking up in the room. His name is Beauty Up. He was the first of the four to wake up. A system window appeared right in front of him. I was also the first one to discover the system. Yet he still played dumb just like the others. The supervisor added, a cunning look on Beauty Up's face. He didn't tell a soul about the system, or the status and skill windows. The white-haired man asked suspiciously, even though he was the first to find out. He laughed heartily. Ha ha ha, what a petty guy. Very good, very good. The screen zoomed in on Jang Seok. Jang Seok is quite surprising too. He possessed a skill from the very beginning, the other added. The white-haired man stroked his beard in surprise. But that's a pretty common skill. The problem is, his skill level is incredibly high. Then they looked at the stats of the four people. The supervisor wondered, it's extremely rare for someone to have a B-rank skill right from the start. The people inside were looking forward, both alert and wary. Isn't it thanks to that man? Were they all able to shake off their confusion and move because of him, even with someone controlled by a malevolent spirit activating a fear-inducing skill? He confirmed, yes. The white-haired man grabbed the armrest, staring at the screen in confusion. Will these people actually clear the first tutorial? The supervisor was stunned. Yeah. Sweat beaded on his forehead. Wait, all of this... Wait. The white-haired man leaned close to the screen, his eyes and mouth wide open. Oh. They looked at the blue observation screen and exclaimed, This is quite shocking. Seok-hoon drove a wooden stake into Jang Seok's neck, sending blood spraying. He pulled the sharp stake out, his gaze cold as he watched Jang Seok collapse with a wound in his neck. I'm truly sorry. No matter how much I think about it, this seems to be the only way for me to survive. Elsewhere, Mina clutched her head in a panic. Her face flushed red as she screamed, Ah, 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 ah! She collapsed to the ground. He still approached, the bloody wooden stake in his hand. This is a nightmare, a nightmare, a nightmare. This is a nightmare, nightmare, ah, ah, ah. Seok-hoon raised the wooden stake again with an icy look. Blood sprayed everywhere. Mina collapsed in a pool of blood. He walked away with blood staining his feet, then rolled his eyes and lifted a hand to his forehead. I was sweating, backing away in terror, his eyes frantic. You! He shrieked. What kind of monster are you? Finally, a cold system voice echoed through the room filled with the stench of death. Congratulations on completing the Survival Massacre tutorial. Escape successful. The personal system board appeared accordingly. Name, Seok-hoon. Class, None. Disposition, Cunning. Notoriety, +5. Infamy, +100. Stats, Strength, 8. Agility, 11. Stamina, 9. Intelligence, 16. Mana, 0. Luck, none. Status, normal. Seok-hoon sneered, gripping the blood-stained piece of wood in his hand, a devilish smirk playing on his lips. He ignored the system voice, continuing, You have been chosen as a player in the great game to select the successor to the next god, the mission. Suddenly, a white crystal screen shattered, engulfing the space. A voice caught Seok-hoon's attention. He turned his head to look. The person spoke politely. Nice to meet you, Seok-hoon. He looked suspicious. The person continued, This is the starting room. I was wearing a white suit, placing a hand on his chest and bowing formally. I am your guide, Jerry. This world is the mission. Jerry stood on a pile of people constantly reaching upward. He said happily, A grand stage created by the gods to choose a successor. The longer you survive in the world of the mission, the better your chances of being chosen as the successor to a high-ranking god. Seok-hoon heard this and narrowed his eyes, thinking silently. He asked sharply, "The mission chooses the gods?" The status window and that Jerry guy had just appeared. Sure enough, this wasn't the world he knew. He thought for a moment, then spoke. This is a setup I've seen in fantasy novels, isn't it? Jerry played his role perfectly, replying warmly, "Exactly. You'll also find it familiar if you've played games. This world is similar to a game, but the only difference is..." He kept his smiling face, his eyes squinting as he continued, "Death exists here, and the only way to leave this world is to die, or become a god." Seok-hoon's face darkened slightly. He clicked his tongue internally, feeling annoyed. "So I can't survive and go back?" "It's not that there's no good news," Jerry babbled on, trying to console him. "But please don't worry. You can be resurrected once after dying, so you have 2 lives. Seok-hoon looked at him with a blank expression. He had the nerve to tell him not to worry? But if he really had 2 lives, he remembered. He clenched his fist until it bled. "So the 3 people I killed in the tutorial, were they like that too?" Seok-hoon held out his injured hand coldly and said, "Can you heal this for me?" Jerry immediately snapped his fingers. "Sure, no problem." Then, a deep blue aura instantly engulfed his entire body. The injured hand of Seok-hoon was also surrounded by the aura. Seok-hoon didn't look surprised, just staring fixedly at the traitor. Jerry looked at the text above his head, narrowing his eyes as he pondered. Who is this bastard to earn the title traitor right after the tutorial? He feigned a corporate smile looking at him. As he looked at his hand, Jerry continued to smile intimately and opened a display screen. "Then, I'll give you some time to prepare before the real battle. If you check your inventory, you'll see a tutorial reward. You can use it to buy some items or skills to use in actual combat." Time flew by. An hour passed as he stared thoughtfully at his personal system board. Jerry kept the smile on his face but was dead on the inside. How long is he going to browse? And finally Seok-hoon performed some transactions. A system notification popped up. You have purchased low-rank swordsmanship. You have purchased 3 sword techniques. You have purchased a low-rank inventory. He was quite surprised. So he finally decided? He even bought a pretty expensive inventory. Jerry raised his head, curious. Oh, food and camping gear, too? He thought highly of him, acknowledging that this guy knew exactly what he needed to survive long-term. Buying a shock spell book instead of high-level skills was a great choice. Surviving in this place is what really matters. Seok-hoon looked down, inspecting himself from head to toe. Feels pretty solid. That should be enough, he thought. Jerry, standing to the side, smiled knowingly and asked, Are you ready? Let's go into actual combat then. Seok-hoon looked confused. Actual combat? Before he knew it, a German shepherd appeared at Jerry's feet. Jerry gave the order calmly. Please kill this dog. Seok-hoon looked at it, visibly shaken. What? You're kidding, right? The dog looked at him too. Jerry politely knelt to pet the dog's head, speaking in an incredibly gentle tone. If you kill this dog, the actual combat ends, and you can rest. Of course, the dog won't resist. Then, suddenly, his voice turned dark and contemplative. After all, you've already done it, haven't you? Seok-hoon looked down, speechless. His mind cleared. That's right. I've already killed 3 people anyway. Nothing has changed. His heart said one thing, but the hand gripping his sword was trembling violently. Seok-hoon steeled himself, gritted his teeth, and raised his blade high. His face twisted with ferocity as he stared straight at the dog. Splat! Blood sprayed in the cold air. Jerry smiled in satisfaction, gesturing with his hand and praising him. Well done. I'm glad you didn't waste time. Then please, rest. Before he could even finish, Seok-hoon suddenly covered his face, dropped to his knees, and started retching violently. Jerry watched Seok-hoon's state and manner with a blank expression. Seriously? I don't get it. Killing people is fine. But killing a dog messes you up this badly? He chuckled, looking down with a haughty air. Ha, now's the time he'd beg to go back, wouldn't he? No wonder everything went so smoothly earlier. On Seok-hoon's side, he was still hacking and coughing, throwing up. Suddenly, a hand reached out and grabbed Jerry's ankle. Jerry was confused, because he had just vomited everything up. His voice was weak and trembling as he spoke. Jerry didn't quite catch it and just listened. Seok-hoon hung his head, his expression dark, his eyes filled with icy, killing intent. His voice grew heavy again. One more time. Jerry was clearly startled, looking down at him. He was somewhat expectant. Accepting? Oh, good. You can have as many as you need. This is your chance to train your skills before stepping into the mission. The blade was stained with foul-smelling blood. Seo-hoon forced himself to stay focused. I've already killed over 100 dogs, horses, cows, and other large animals, even goblins, lizardmen, and orcs. As soon as I got used to the sword, the mission truly began. With Jerry's final piece of advice, the scene cut to a high-angle shot. Looking down at the bustling city buildings, Jerry's voice still echoed in Seo-hoon's ears. Cherish your life. Suddenly, a series of static noises rang out. Amidst the city streets, columns of blue light flickered into existence, then vanished, having brought many people here. They looked around in shock. Some were worried and uneasy in the strange setting. What is this? I'm in another strange place. Some went crazy, clutching their heads and screaming, You bastards, let me go! Seo-hoon looked around calmly, his lips turning downward. I can't waste time here. I have to hurry. The mission world has started. There must be another assistant like Jerry somewhere. Before he could finish that thought, he noticed, nearby, a girl with a Japanese-style hairstyle offered a warm smile and spoke in a soft voice. Welcome. Thank you for being the first to visit the first city's quest station, player. Seo-hoon was surprised and stammered, Player? She smiled, conjuring 2 quest boards in her hands, and said enthusiastically, Players cannot leave the city. But you can accept quests from the quest station. Since you're a beginner, you can take quests like the rat extermination. Seo-hoon pondered, feeling emotional. This place has quests too? It really is a game where I have to risk my life. Even though the rewards aren't great, there's something called a first completion bonus. Quest info. Rat extermination. E rank. Countless rats have appeared in the warehouse causing trouble. Eliminate all rats in the warehouse. Achievement conditions. 1. Achievement 1. Kill 5 rats, not over 5. 2. Hunter. Kill 5 rats, not over 5. 3. Slayer. Kill 5 rats, not over 5. Additional reward, 500 gold. Luck plus 1. Rewards will be added based on achievement rank. Bonus for the first person to reach Slayer rank, plus 1 stat point. After reading, Seo-hoon felt like clicking his tongue. He thought, even if this is just a game, there are no levels or even tips on how to increase stats. How rude. He hesitated for a moment, weighing if hogging stat points to boost them as quickly as possible would be more beneficial. Thinking this, he didn't dawdle anymore. He pointed at a quest and said firmly, Okay, I'll take this one. The girl announced happily, You have accepted the rat extermination quest. He was teleported to this mission location. The scenery around him changed in a flash, and Seo-hoon kept walking calmly. He put his hands in his pockets, thinking, taking out a few rats shouldn't take much time. But very quickly Seo-hoon got slapped in the face. His blade clanged against the ground. Seo-hoon's voice was heavy. Damn it! He knelt on one knee, resolutely holding his sword, his heart feeling like it was about to clash with a storm. I can't catch them because they're too small and fast. Let alone 5, can I even catch one? Seo-hoon panted heavily, exhausted. And I wasn't told how to abandon the mission, which means I can't escape this warehouse, unless I complete the quest. He opened his personal system window, one hand gnawing on bread while the other swiped away. He tried to think. Luckily, he had prepared food, or he would have starved to death while trying to exterminate them. Suddenly, Seo-hoon was startled to find something in his inventory. He pulled out a poison bottle with the skull label, the whole bottle a gloomy purple. Seo-hoon gave a wicked smile. His mind seemed to cheer. There it is, the lowest level poison. Without hesitation, Seo-hoon quickly opened the wooden lid. The scent of death. Even if it's the lowest level, it can still cause muscle failure. The rats were flattened on the ground, no longer moving. Congratulations! Back at the quest station, the girl welcomed him with a joyful smile. You've already exterminated all the rats? You're amazing! Hearing her shower him with empty praise, her voice quite dramatic, attracted quite a bit of attention from other players. The people standing behind him whispered, That guy. Looks like he's already finished a quest. Who the hell is talking so loudly? How did he do it? The whispers and murmurs felt like daggers in his back. Seo-hoon looked visibly annoyed, suspicious of what they might be plotting. What is this? Talking loud to get everyone's attention, huh? Damn, how annoying. Suddenly, Seo-hun had a thought. Not that he was angry at her. She had nothing to gain from it. He immediately forced a smile, letting out a stiff, ha-ha. With a look that screamed villain, he joked, "Guess I'm getting written out by Chapter 3 then." That unsightly expression was due to the Betrayer of Smiles title effect, a blade hidden behind your smile. You aren't easily swayed and your resistance limit increases. As your status improves, it goes up a bit. Suddenly, a young man walked up behind him, smiling brightly. "Pardon me, we heard you just finished the rat extermination quest. If you don't mind, could you share some info with us?" Seo-hun went cold, barely holding back an eye roll, silently trying to hypnotize himself. Just feed them some useless info. Suddenly, a light bulb went off in his head. Wait, no. Seo-hun turned around and asked, "Can you tell me your title?" The tall guy was taken aback, scratching the back of his head. "A title? Why all of a sudden?" But he still answered, "My title is Courageous Survivor." Seo-hun looked at the couple in front of him. He sank into thought. Judging by the title, he seems like a reliable guy. I've already got the Betrayer title, so getting to know them might be good for the future. With that, Seo-hun gave some sincere advice. If you can, don't do the rat quest. If you aren't fully prepared, I wouldn't recommend it. The guy's girlfriend looked a bit surprised. She was confused. "Oh, but didn't you just finish it?" The surprise rippled through the crowd, causing a stir. Some troublemakers started heckling. "Give us some good info, man. What's so hard about killing a few rats? Isn't he just trying to hog all the easy quests for himself?" A fat guy cursed, "You lying bastard!" Seo-hun didn't bother engaging. He held his head, offering a mocking, sarcastic smirk. "Let the losers scream. I'm going to do the wolf hunting quest. I'll do the wolf quest instead. This mission probably isn't based on the order of appearance here, right?" Seo-hun asked casually. Facing the girl who gave him the quest, he spoke calmly. "Okay, then please give me the wolf hunting quest." The girl immediately answered happily, "Understood." Instantly teleported, the couple still hadn't registered for the rat quest. The girlfriend asked her boyfriend, looking hesitant, "Hey, what should we do?" The guy looked at her affectionately and suggested gently, "Let's do the pest extermination quest." The girlfriend was unsure. "Pests? Isn't that harder than the rat quest?" Suddenly, the guy called out to him, "Wait, do you want to play as a party?" Around Seo-hun, a few status indicators flashed. His voice echoed, "A party?" The guy generously offered his hand. "My girlfriend and I have been doing the tutorial quests together. According to the people here, we can do quests as a party." But Seo-hun had his own path. He looked at them and politely declined. "I'll have to refuse your offer. I hunt alone." As he spoke, the glowing streaks around him burned even brighter. And just like that, Seo-hun vanished from the player city, appearing in a low-ceilinged structure, like an underground passage or deep inside some cave. He moved quickly and cautiously, carefully disarming a large trap. Then, he took out a low-grade poison vial, slowly tilting it to coat his short sword. Suddenly, a roar erupted right next to his ear. A deafening scream. Seo-hun glanced at the massive, shaggy beast in front of him and muttered, "All right, the first one." He started dealing with the huge wolf. Its eyes were glowing a strange blood red and drool dripped incessantly from its mouth. Seo-hun stood his ground, not backing down. "You're next." Standing between two wolves, he calmly drew his sword, thinking, "I'll take care of the first one now." Suddenly, one of the wolves got its foot caught in a trap. Taking advantage of the distraction, Seo-hun swung his sword. He slashed down, but the wolf leaped away to dodge it, roaring in pain and anger. Seo-hun was slightly surprised, thinking to himself, "Damn, still as fierce as a wolf even when injured, huh?" He then raised his hand, creating a magic symbol to counter the wolf's shock. "Oh, that's actually useful." Seo-hun flashed a confident smile and lunged forward, the sword piercing straight through the wolf's neck. Suddenly, the other wolf leaped onto him, biting his shoulder. It clamped down, pinning Seo-hun. He was thrown into a panic. "Damn it, I can't pull the sword out." I immediately decided to let go of the hilt and jumped up. Seo-hun slammed his back onto the ground, using the wolf clinging to his shoulder as a meat cushion. Taking the chance, Seo-hun quickly grabbed the sword hilt again and stabbed the wolf's face hard. He shouted, "You dog, are you done playing around yet?" Seo-hun started to think. The lowest grade poison and the low-grade trap skill reduce the enemy's ability to recognize spoiled food. Based on the experience I gained from the rat extermination quest, I can create a synergy between the poison and the traps by combining these two skills. As a result, he could take down 30 wolves alone. The system board appeared. You have cleared the wolf hunting quest. You have met the conditions for slaughterer. Standard reward, 2,000 gold, luck plus 3. Bonus reward, 6,000 gold, stats plus 2, wolf hide gloves, we are evaluating. Your quest completion process, strength plus 1, stamina plus 1. A while later, Seo-hun met with Sarah. She warmly praised him. Wow, you've become the first to clear the quest again. I immediately reminded her, I know. Please keep it down. Then Sarah gave a bright smile and said, Hehehe, of course I had to be surprised. Are you hurt anywhere? Seo-hun asked in return. Aside from that, do you know where the inn is? Sarah quickly pointed the way. If you go straight to the left from the city square, you'll find it. A short while later, Seo-hun appeared in front of an inn. A large hand reached out in front of him. Seo-hun asked, confused, What is this? The innkeeper crossed his arms and said nonchalantly, You got money? A lot of bastards have scammed us already. So cough up the money first. Hearing that, Seo-hun quickly reached into his bag. He then pulled out a large pouch with 70,000 gold and asked, Is this enough? The innkeeper's attitude flipped instantly, his face beaming, More than enough. Please, come in, sir. Seo-hun sat down at a table, and a waitress came out to take his order. Would you like to order something? Seo-hun asked, What does this place have? The waitress replied, Anything you'd like? Seo-hun said, Then give me 1 serving of grilled meat and a bowl of rice. The waitress responded, Understood, please wait a moment. Seo-hun took the opportunity to open his notification screen. Status window. Name, Lee Seo-hun. Class, Swordsman, Thief, Mage, New. Title, Trader, 2. Tendencies. Cunning, 4. Outstanding, plus 20. Notorious, plus 100. Stats, Strength, 8. Intelligence, 18. Mana, 5. Agility, 14. Stamina, 13. Luck, 10. Condition, exhausted. After reading, Seo-hun pondered and calculated. Right now, all my stats are over 10. That means my physical stats are all above average. My skill mastery levels have increased too. Is it too fast for a beginner stage, or is it leveling up quickly because my skill levels are still low? While he was deep in thought, a couple walked in. Oh, is that him? Lee Yangji approached Seo-hun's table and spoke up. What a coincidence! Who would have thought we'd meet here? It's great to see you again. Do you mind if we join you? Seeing Seo-hun stay silent, the guy bit his lip, sweating nervously. Only then did Seo-hun give a cold nod. Lee Yangji and his girlfriend sat down at the table opposite him. Afterward, the guy spoke first. If you don't mind, may I ask your name? Seo-hun replied, I'm Lee Seo-hun. The guy introduced himself warmly. I'm Lee Yangji, and this is my girlfriend Park Hana. Thank you so much. Thanks to you, we were able to avoid a difficult situation. Seo-hun, confused, asked, A difficult situation? Lee Yangji asked back in surprise, Wait, you haven't heard anything? Seo-hun frowned as he realized he hadn't heard any news other than what he got from his stats and tasks. The couple opposite him, seeing his expression, looked at each other. Lee Yangji exclaimed happily, So, why don't you exchange info with us? Seo-hun looked uninterested. Exchange, huh? Lee Yangji explained, That's right. We'll tell you all the information we have, so please pay for our meal, would you? Seo-hun was deep in thought. I didn't expect that. It's not a bad deal if I can get some good info. It's just a meal worth a few gold coins. He finally agreed, All right. I'll pay for a meal for the two of you worth 100 gold. Now talk. The two of them looked at each other happily. Lee Yangji quickly jumped into the first piece of information. It's about when we finished the bug extermination task. There were a lot of riots across the city all at once after being thrown into this strange world. There was no way people could stay calm. Not long after soldiers arrived and suppressed the riots. Those who kept resisting were taken away somewhere by the soldiers. Some even died, so the situation ended there. But everyone who died respawned, which made things even more troublesome. Hearing this, Seo-hun exclaimed to himself in shock, People respawn after dying? Jerry did say everyone had 2 lives. Lee Yangji continued with the second piece of info regarding this. The death penalty. Se Eun-hun felt intrigued. Death penalty? Lee Yangji explained excitedly. The stats of those who respawned dropped by about 3 points after a few minutes. I exclaimed. 6 stats? So if you die once, you lose 18 points. That's quite a lot. Lee Yangji continued. Thirdly, it's about the geography around the city square. There are a few quest stations as well as smithies, restaurants, inns, item shops, and even a place called the Class Change Center. Se Eun-hun began to ponder again. Class change? I already received a title. After hunting all day, will I be able to acquire more skills if I do that? Lee Yangji excitedly shared the final piece of info. And lastly, regarding the bug extermination task we did, thanks to your advice, almost everyone else who went for the rat-clearing task didn't come back. Se Eun-hun finally said, as expected, the reason the rat-clearing task was difficult wasn't because the rats were strong. It's because they're really hard to wipe out. If I hadn't brought enough food, I would have been toast too. Right at that moment, the waitress brought the food to the table and said, your food is here. The couple looked at each other with hopeful expressions. Se Eun-hun said with a smile, I'll cover your meals every day, and in exchange, you keep sharing info with me like you did today. Deal? He calculated to himself. I need 6,000 gold a month to feed them. It's a bit much, but it'll save me time on gathering info. Lee Yangji was overjoyed, grabbed Se Eun-hun's hand and cheered, we'll do it. Very soon, the moon was high in the sky. Se Eun-hun opened the door and walked out, only to be startled when he saw someone. It was some kids looking up at Se Eun-hun with sparkling eyes, begging, please give us 1 gold coin, please, mister, just a little bit. Se Eun-hun glanced over, thinking to himself that while everyone surely starts from the same point, many are left behind because they fail to adapt to their mission. Meanwhile, some street urchins were still begging for just 1 Jude. Give it a rest, he cursed silently at the beggars, and Se Eun-hun closed his eyes, intending to walk away. Suddenly, he bumped into someone. The man immediately grabbed his shoulder and started making a scene. Oh my god, I'm dying, that bastard is trying to hit someone. Se Eun-hun just walked away coolly. If it were any other kind, normal person, they would have apologized first after making a mistake, or at least felt pressured by the people watching. I used to act that gentle too, hiding my inner devil beneath a mask, but from now on, that gentle side is gone. I've lived, hiding my true self behind a mask. The old man was still pointing and shouting, I said this dog hit me, you rude prick. Se Eun-hun immediately turned back, glared, and snapped, if you're starving, then get up and work for it yourself. And stop flapping your mouth unless you want to die. After scaring the old man into sitting flat on the ground, Se Eun-hun turned and walked away. No more masks. A clear blue sky appeared over a building. When Se Eun-hun walked in, someone greeted him. Welcome to the Class Change Tower. I am Philip, created to assist players. Se Eun-hun replied, Philip, I have a question. He turned, puzzled, and asked, what is it? Se Eun-hun said with a serious expression, swordsman classes. Thief and mage have already appeared in my status window. Is there any difference between the classes that appear automatically and the ones I choose here? Philip pushed up his glasses, looking him over. He thought, impressed. It's only been 2 days in the mission world, yet he's already attained 3 classes. Thinking about how he didn't look like an average person wearing that coat, Philip replied cheerfully. The classes you received are temporary classes depending on the weapons you use. Temporary classes, as the name suggests, are jobs that can change at any time. If you use an axe, axeman will appear instead of swordsman. If you only use magic, you'll only get mage. However, the classes recommended here at the Class Change Tower cannot be changed. Simply put, it's not just picking a job, it's developing the player's traits. Se Eun-hun sounded confused. Traits? Philip waved his hand and said, well, rather than a long-winded explanation, it's better to just take a look. Instantly, a column of information appeared before Se Eun-hun. Mage, deacon, archer, spiritualist, priest, thief, bandit, infantry, knight, shield-bearer, healer, merchant, chef. Philip said proudly. At the Class Change Tower, we create classes by combining the player's experiences. Doesn't this show what works best for the player? A system screen appeared before Se Eun-hun. Recommended classes: Gladiator, magic swordsman, poisoner, strategist, berserker, swordsman. After reading them, Seo Eun-hoon asked, "So can you suggest something stronger than the basic classes?" Philip replied indifferently, "Maybe, maybe not. Besides, the cost to change a class is 50,000 Jude. What do you think? If you have the money, you can change whenever you want." Seo Eun-hoon listened and started calculating. 50,000 Jude. This is definitely going to be profitable if I eliminate the classes with limited potential. That leaves two classes, Swordsman and Righteous Bandit. Swordsman and Righteous Bandit, both are good. Just then the system prompted, "You cannot choose cowardly methods." After seeing the Righteous Bandit class, Seo Eun-hoon felt disappointed. "I don't like this much. I'm not sure what cowardly methods entails. It wouldn't be good if I couldn't use crowd control or poison. I have no other choice." He then made his decision. "I want to change my class to Swordsman." Philip quickly replied, "Certainly. Do you have the money? The total is 50,000 Jude." Seo Eun-hoon decisively handed over a full money bag. "Here you go, 50,000 Jude." Philip was so shocked he started sweating. People were starving in the streets because they didn't have 10 Jude, and here was someone spending 50,000 Jude. He spoke up, "Well then, congratulations on your path to becoming a swordsman." A wave of power immediately surrounded Seo Eun-hoon. The system announced, "You have changed your class to swordsman. All stats increased by 3. Mastery skills significantly boosted. You have learned the exclusive swordsman skill, Blink. You have learned the exclusive swordsman skill, Endless Spirit. Blink. E rank, high magic, active. A powerful, accurate movement skill that confuses enemies with unpredictable movements, Endless Spirit. E rank 5, low rare, passive. Reduces skill cooldowns by 10%. Increases synergy with other skills. Collects information. He read and thought, active means temporary, and passive means permanent. Ability stats increased by a total of 18, and the accompanying skills will be useful." A moment later, Seo Eun-hoon walked outside, wondering, "I wonder how Blink will actually work. I have a weird feeling I need to be fast." Suddenly, he sensed something and stopped. Seo Eun-hoon felt 2 pairs of eyes fixed on him. Those 2? Why are they watching me? He noticed the man wearing armor on his shoulders, and the slender woman with 2 swords strapped to her back. Seo Eun-hoon calmly evaluated them in his mind. Looking at their gear, they seem pretty decent. Must be because I have gear too. Just then the woman was interrupted by someone. Grab her hand and tease her loudly. "Hey, over there! Come here. We big guys want to have a little chat with you." Didn't you hear what he said? The girl is held back by a few thugs, but she remains cold and silent. When she finally speaks, telling them to let her go, they look confused. She glances up, her eyes sharp and freezing. "I won't say it again. If you don't want to lose your hand, let me go." The thug scoffs and sneers. "Are you blind, you crazy bitch?" Instantly, a wave of sword energy slashes through, cutting off his hand. Seo Eun-hoon is stunned by this move. The thug's 2 companions are terrified, breaking into a cold sweat. The thug whose hand was severed screams in agony, "Ah, my hand, my hand!" The girl then turns away and says calmly, "If you want to keep living with one hand, go ahead and keep blocking my path." The power radiating from her makes the thugs panic and flee at full speed, running away to report what happened. The girl uses an intimidation effect that makes her enemies tremble in fear. They'll be hit by a critical attack. Seo Eun-hoon thinks to himself, "What is this pressure? I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because my stats have leveled up, but I can feel that it's not aimed at me." The young man stares at her. Eun-hoon suddenly smiles brightly and walks over to strike up a conversation. You seem pretty sharp." Seo Eun-hoon looks confused. "What do you mean?" The pink-haired guy winks and points. "Don't pretend anymore. Look at your gear and that sword. You must have played a proactive special role in the tutorial mission, and on top of that, the fact that you just left the job change tower proves you've already switched to a new class." He replies calmly, "So what? Who knows anything?" Inside, he thinks, "What is this guy on about? Another invitation to join a party? This guy is high level, but why is he so dumb?" The guy puts his hands on his hips, laughing. "Tell me one more thing. My title is Captain. What about you?" Seo Eun-hoon stares at him in silence, thinking, if I tell him my title is the traitor or the cowardly survivor, everyone will definitely be suspicious of me. Seo Eun-hoon then gives a bitter smile. Nothing special. My title is The Cowardly Survivor. And here I thought hearing that name from Yeonji would be useful. The guy introduces himself. My name is Kong Muhan. Do you want to join my party? Co Ohun asks, if I go with you, what's in it for me? Kong Muhan says confidently, if you join us, you'll not only have reliable teammates but also financial support. Besides, you'll have a guy like me. A strong guy, protecting you. Co Ohun probes him. Strong? How so? Kong Muhan stands with his hands on his hips, confident. With 50 strength, haha. Don't believe me? My strength stat is 50? Co Ohun repeats, 50? Kong Muhan gives a thumbs up and says with a big smile, when we got here, our real-world skills were measured and our stats changed accordingly. So, people like me have high-tier stats. What do you think, Ohun? He is now seriously checking his system window and calculating. Even with the points from changing classes, my strength is only 20. According to what he said, this game is a rip-off. He says coldly, I'm sorry, but I have to decline. I prefer to go solo. Kong Muhan smiles and interrupts. If you change your mind, find Hetefa. You'll be well taken care of. Seo Ohun thinks to himself, if I want to increase my abilities, I have to finish the missions quickly. If I want to pay the city fees, I have to increase the difficulty level and get more rewards. Right at that moment, both Seo Ohun and the girl speak up at the same time in front of someone. I want the sick orc as my opponent. You look down at her in surprise. Huh? Oh, this girl. The girl also frowns as she looks at Seo Ohun. She then urges, I choose sick orc. Hurry up. Sarah replies, understood. You will be transferred to the relevant area. But Seo Ohun's expression turns serious. She knows. Damn it, I'm going to lose the first clear reward if it keeps going like this. He quickly shouts, Sarah, sick orc for me too. Hurry up. Sarah replies, okay. Done. Co Ohun is quickly transported into the dungeon. He checks his system window while thinking, damn, is it as hard as that murderer? Whatever. I have to hurry. At that moment, a fragrant, delicious-looking plate of grilled chicken is placed on the ground. A few orcs wander over saying, food? Wait, something isn't right. They scratch their heads and analyze. Food in the middle of the jungle? Very suspicious. Now that I think about it, that makes sense. Co Ohun is hiding behind a bush and is startled. If you're an orc, then think like an orc and fall for the trap. He can't wait any longer and is dying of impatience. No time to waste. If that's her skill, she'll be aiming for the stat rewards too. After thinking that, he quickly uses Lightning Bolt. A powerful blast of energy strikes the two orcs. The orc screams in pain. Chirp! Chirp! Human! Co Ohun coldly stabs with his sword, replying, that's right, I'm the human here. The orc also uses a wooden club to block his attack. The orc that Jerry summoned in the starting room, to some extent. That was Jerry's summon. There's no way this is the same. Co Ohun's expression flashes with worry. Crap. What I practiced isn't working. Is there any skill I can use? Think. The orc still wasn't fazed, standing his ground. He gripped his wooden club and lunged toward Sehun. Sehun stood there, caught in his own thoughts, waiting for the attack. If I don't figure this out, I'm dead. I thought orcs were just low-level, stupid monsters. Sehun used his electric shock again. I thought I could take them on. 2 at a time since they're sick, but they were barely stunned by the direct hit. The orc was now crackling with electric currents. Yet, he still wasn't fazed. He roared, Human, you're too weak! Too weak! Sehun was breathing heavily, exhausted. At this rate, I'm going to lose, damn it! Then the lead orc spoke to his comrade. Stay back, I'll take them on alone. The one behind replied, Yes, sir, good. The orc named Good, who had a mohawk, gripped his sword and took a combat stance. Sehun began analyzing his strategy. I don't have many skills I can use in this situation. Among them, low-level swordsmanship has an effect, but I'd have to use that jagged forest dagger to cut them. If I go for melee combat, I only have 2 active skills at the lowest level. If the electric shock doesn't work on them, I'm down to just 1 skill. Having calculated his move, Sehun lunged forward. The orc. Good prepared to close the distance, but Sehun used flash to blink to the side and dodge. Sehun's eyes flashed with a cold light as he looked at his opponent. Before Good could swing his sword down, Sehun had already plunged his dagger into the orc's throat. The subordinate orc screamed in a panic, Lord Good! He watched the scene in disbelief. I can't believe it. Lord Good was killed by a pathetic dying human. After using that surge of power, Sehun stopped. He couldn't help but pant heavily, his body trembling in waves. Sehun then cast a cold, sharp gaze toward the subordinate orc, who was now terrified at being targeted. Sehun used Flash, again, and lunged at him. The orc held his club, but his body shook with fear. He's trembling all over. He must have used up all his stamina blocking the Lord's attacks. Good. Wait. The orc still confidently swung his club forward, screaming, "He's so exhausted he won't be able to block my attack." But Sehun had suddenly appeared behind him. The orc panicked. Huh? Where did he go? The orc quickly turned around, and just as he did, Sehun plunged his knife into the orc's chest. The orc looked down at the knife in his chest and gasped in disbelief. Please wait! Sehun coldly replied, "Die, you pig, damn it!" Then with one slash, he decapitated the orc. The orc's hands went limp on the ground. Sehun finally let out a sigh of relief. Phew, I thought I was a goner. I underestimated them. I almost lost my life. The minimum completion condition is to kill 3 orcs. One more and I can get out of here. But if I do that, I'll waste the completion rewards I could get. Still, I almost died to just 1 orc. I need to gain more combat experience. Of course, I'm not planning on facing them head-on. The scene shifted to a village. Orc cries echoed, "Squeak, squeak, has the scout team not returned yet?" The orcs were gathered as if having a meeting. What the hell is going on? Elder, 14 orcs are missing. Squeak, squeak, we have no excuse for this. This is definitely the work of humans. Everyone who can move, grab your weapons and gather here. Squeak, but most of us are running high fevers and can't even move. Another one roared, "That's why we have to deal with this quickly." Do you intend to let yourselves be killed by humans while lying in bed because the epidemic has worsened? Another orc replied cautiously, I didn't think clearly. I will gather everyone at once. Whoever touched the Blood Rain orc tribe will pay for their actions. The elder gripped his staff tightly and declared confidently, I will impale your head, chop your limbs into 100 pieces and feed you to the monsters. Then, I'll watch your insides slowly rot. The scene shifted to the edge of the forest, where 2 orcs were patrolling and talking to each other. Ugh, it hurts so much. We were made to patrol the area while we're sick. It's so cruel. They didn't notice a trap covered in leaves on the ground. The orc's foot stepped onto the green leaves. A panicked scream rang out. One orc fell into the hole. The other looked down from above and asked, Hey, are you okay? The orc below, impaled on sharp blades sticking up from the ground, screamed in pain, Squeak! A trap! A trap! Sehun was calculating how to reduce their mobility. Using traps and poison is more than enough. The orc in the hole cried out, Ugh, I've been stabbed! What is this? The orc above leaned down to reassure him, Wait, I'll pull you out right now. Just then, Sehun appeared behind him. The orc screamed, Who, human! Human! I'll kill you! Sehun calmly gripped the hilt of his sword and replied, Sure. Our goals are the same, aren't they? The 2 attacks collided. Then they separated, sparks flying from the impact. Sehun thought coldly, Facing 7 orcs at once wouldn't be good. But I can handle this much. I believed I could beat 2 orcs if I used all my effort and flash, but what if I run out of mana and can't use skills? After thinking it over, I decided to create one-on-one situations. Thanks to that, I've been able to face the orcs without using skills. It's not much, but I'm getting stronger. During the fight, Sehun used Flash again. He moved suddenly and slashed the orc's head off. The head rolled on the ground. The orc, in the hole, finally climbed up to the edge and stared in shock at his friend's round head. Squeak! His expression was a mix of fear and anger toward Sehun. My comrades around here won't let this slide. Sehun looked down from above with a cold face and calmly said, Bring them here. The orc ran away, not forgetting to leave a warning. Just wait for it. But just then, a sharp blade tip appeared behind the orc's back. Then it pierced through his body. Sehun stabbed him while whispering, You just had to reveal your lair. The orc let out one miserable cry before collapsing to the ground, dead. Sehun quickly clamped his teeth down on the fangs. He decisively spat them out, satisfied, thinking it didn't take much effort to clear this quest as he filled his bag with weapons looted from the orcs. I even took their fangs, though he wasn't sure which part was worth the most. With his magical power, he could use Slash 6 times and Blink 4 times. If he used his skills efficiently, he wouldn't have any trouble facing 2 orcs at once. Only 14 more to go until he finished the quest. If he worked this hard only to have that black-haired woman steal the bonus reward by finishing the first trial, he had to hurry, Seon-hun calculated. Seon-hun was now in a different place, hiding behind a large tree, scanning the deserted village. Not a single creature in sight. It was the sick orc village. But Seon-hun remained cautious, still hiding behind the large tree. It was too quiet. No orcs passing by, no guards either. Should he try to sneak in? Having made up his mind, he stepped into the village, unable to stop himself from covering his nose because of the stench. What is this smell? Then, Seon-hun saw the sick orcs lying there in agony. They could only let out weak squeaks, injured to the point they couldn't move. Seon-hun remembered seriously that the orcs he fought earlier also had red marks on their skin. Looks like these ones are even worse off. He drew his sword, thinking he might finish the challenge sooner than he thought. He held his sword to the neck of a gasping orc. Seeing them unable to resist, he hesitated. Don't be soft. He'd already eliminated countless opponents in this state back in the starter room. Just then, the orc cried out in agony. Squeak! Squeak! It hurts! Help! Help me! Seon-hun pursed his lips with a hint of guilt. Sorry, but to me, you're just a piece of meat. At least I can grant you a favor. A quick death. Immediately after, tragic screams echoed through the village. A moment later, Seon-hun wiped his face and thought coldly. I've killed 29, just one left, one more and it's done. I was standing there, when he heard a squeak from one side. Another group of orcs appeared, examining footprints on the ground, shouting, Human tracks, check the area. The henchman replied, Yes, Squeak. Seon-hun was now incredibly worried. I was so focused I forgot they'd come. Meanwhile, the elder orc leaned on his staff and thought angrily. Just a mere human, daring to sneak into the village while we were out hunting? Because of this damn disease, I can't think straight. I should have left some guards behind. Seon-hun, hiding near the wall of a doorway, thought, if the elder orc was in normal condition, he definitely would have sniffed out the blood inside the warehouse. But now, he was just a sick orc. The elder stepped through the door, tripped on a tripwire, and his massive body crashed to the ground. Squeak! He hissed angrily. What the hell? A fishing line? Seon-hun suddenly appeared and slashed, cutting off the elder's arm. The elder screamed. Squeak! Even with one arm gone, the elder slammed his staff down angrily. Don't look down on me! I am the Fireball Elder! Immediately, a large flame erupted. A barrage of fire energy shot toward Seon-hun. Before the attack could hit, he quickly used Blink, calculating as he moved. I can visualize the flips in my head to avoid the fireballs. And he barely dodged it, all because he could see the skill's trajectory at the super hard level. However, because his strength and experience were still lacking, he lost his balance. Seon-hun stumbled, his expression turning tense, a slip-up. Just like that, a pillar of fire from the elder orc hit him. The elder laughed smugly. How do you like my magic? You human! I'll make sure you die in a sea of flames! Seon-hun quickly regained his composure and moved lightly, replying, Too bad for you. My defensive skill activates instantly. A system window appeared. Magic resistance. Lowest grade, D. Low-level magic. Passive type. Helps resist magic power. Reduces damage caused by magic by 2%. Reduces first circle magic power by 10%. Reduces second circle magic power by 5%. Immediately, the wounded shoulder of Seon-hun had healed. Perhaps his shoulder had taken continuous fire damage, but thanks to the magic resistance skill, the flames were extinguished after a few minutes. The elder orc saw this and exclaimed in shock, That's impossible! But as soon as he spoke, his head was severed from his neck. The henchman ran over in terror, screaming, Ah, elder, you human! We won't forgive you! Seon-hun glanced coldly outside. The system notified him. You have completed this condition. Slaughter the sick orcs. Do you want to end the quest? Seon-hun gave a faint smile. Do I even have to ask? Challenge completed. Just like that, Seon-hun vanished in front of the orc horde miraculously. He disappeared without a trace, leaving them bewildered. He vanished! Transition back to the outside space. The system continued to notify. You have completed the challenge. Hunt the sick orcs. You have completed the slaughter condition. Standard reward. 3 Jude's Cruel Spellbook. Bonus reward after completion. First slaughter condition. 15 Jude's plus 2 stat points. Evaluating the challenge completion process. Stamina increased by 2. Seon-hun stood in front of the door, thinking, Ha! Looks like I was the first one. Blink is useful. Who would have thought? Its effect will probably be even stronger when my dexterity increases. I should dump all my bonus points into that. Finally, looking at the magic staff I got at the end, the system board showed Elder Orc's Magic Staff, Low Rank Magic, Class, Staff. Even though it's made from an ordinary tree branch, it has been infused with magical power from a long time ago. Reduces magic consumption by 1% when activating skills. Seong-hun looked at the staff and thought, 1% is better than nothing. Then the system screen disappeared. Seong-hun glanced to the side. It was the girl who had taken the quest with him earlier. She also glanced over at Seong-hun, wondering to herself, did this person also complete the hardest difficulty, the massacre level? Then he looked back at the quest board. Ha, it seems I'm one step ahead. Should I take another quest? I haven't reached the limit yet. I haven't reached the limit. After making his choice, Seong-hun spoke up. Ms. Sarah, I'll take the Ratman extermination quest. Sarah quickly replied, Sure, are you going to keep doing more quests? The girl next to him pondered as she looked at Seong-hun for a moment. Then she spoke up. I'll take the Ratman extermination quest too. Sarah, ever enthusiastic, said, Oh, all right then. You will be teleported to the Ratman extermination site shortly. Seong-hun heard this and felt a bit confused, wondering, is she doing the same quest as me again this time? Squeak. Footsteps echoed in a dark basement. The Ratmen heard the noise and froze. Their bodies stiffened when Marina appeared. The Ratman angrily lunged forward, shouting, Who are you? Squeak! She coldly drew her sword and slashed at the Ratman. The Ratman was hit by Marina's attack and backed off, starting to calculate, where did this person come from? Taking her on head-on is beyond my capabilities. I should retreat for now. But at that moment, Marina pointed her sword upward and began using her flying sword technique. The Ratman looked behind in terror. Instantly, Marina slashed through its body. It could only let out painful squeaks. A second later, the Ratman collapsed on the ground, dead. Marina gently sheathed her sword. Then, she thought about Seong-hun and the staff he was holding. That must be the Elder Orc's staff. That means he completed the quest at the massacre level. Thinking that, she clenched her fist, her eyes narrowing as she wondered, is he going to become even stronger? That girl didn't use traps or kill impossible opponents like Seong-hun. She faced 30 orcs head-on and wiped them out. Magic swordswoman, Marina. This girl had gained 3 skills since the mission began. Intermediate swordsmanship, flying sword technique, and killing swordsmanship. This power surpassed that of special forces. After a while of thinking, she closed her eyes to reassure herself. No way that guy is stronger than me. Rather than feeling like he's a powerhouse, I think he's just rude. Meanwhile, Seong-hun suddenly felt a chill down his spine. He was standing in the middle of a pile of Ratman corpses, picking his ear and thinking, my ear itches. Someone must be talking bad about me. After that, Seong-hun took out a piece of cheese. At that moment, in a certain house, a happy laugh rang out. Hey, you're quite skilled, aren't you? Lulu clapped and grinned wide, saying, How on earth did you manage to bring back so many wolf teeth and hearts? Seong-hun calmly replied, I have my ways. But his gaze became sharp. However, this is still not enough compared to that woman. On the other side, Sarah also smiled happily and praised the player. Seong-hun, you completed the quest very quickly this time, but the player Marina finished the previous quest even earlier. Seong-hun gasped in surprise, thinking, accelerating the pace with poison? Is that reasonable? Over here, Lulu patted her forehead, saying, Tell me, what did you lose, teacher? If we subtract the purchasing cost from the 23,000 guild price, it'll be 15,000 guild. The term Game Start NPC was once controversial, but now it's a common term. They were created by powerful gods, but they are like humans and have their own personalities. Furthermore, one can see the similarities between the in-game settings and the mission. 2 months after starting the first mission, 3 types of people already existed in the first city, just like in the game. First, the starving people who have to sell the most basic things to eat, the poor. Second, those who are neither particularly strong nor weak, ordinary people. And third, the jobs of those with outstanding talent, runners. Although they are top runners with special jobs, basically, the rankers hold absolute power. Just then, in the library, the short-haired girl smiled and hugged a book. Seong-hun, it looks like you finally have enough money to buy skills, right? Seong-hun calmly replied, "That's right, so hand over the skill books." The short-haired girl brought out a stack of books and said, "Here you go, customer." Hogan, implying a subtle insult. Then the girl started listing the prices. Intermediate swordsmanship, 50,000 guild. Intermediate poison, 30,000 guild. Total is 80,000 guild. At this point, the attribute of the two books appeared on the system screen. Intermediate swordsmanship, E rank. Magic skill, passive. A field for practicing sword paths. The specialty of this intermediate swordsmanship is the longsword technique. Longsword attack power increases by 10%. Intermediate poison, E rank. Magic skill, passive. You can master the use of poison. Poison effect increases by 10%. Ability for opponents to detect poison decreases. Seong-hun, as if he just realized something, asked back, "Did you just say, Hogan? Customer?" The girl smiled and retorted, "You must have misheard, dear customer." Hogan sounds like customer in Korean. Seong-hun then thought of Marina. "I've spent about 9% of my assets, but from now on, I will be able to deploy the longsword technique. Can I defeat the ranker Marina with this?" Not long before that, I had lost the bonus reward for the person who completed the Moonlit Cave investigation mission at the hard level to Marina. Marina had received the Moonlit Longsword from this reward, and sold it to Kong Muhan for 2,000. When Seong-hun arrived, they had already completed the trade. "Damn it, a step too late again." Marina shot me a challenging look, the same one from that day. To catch up to her, I decided to try investigating the Moonlit Cave again. The busy street was filled with the sounds of vendors calling out, "Iron swords for sale! Get your iron swords here! Dirt cheap, only 40,000, no haggling, selling entry-level gear here. I'll sell mine cheaper than the general store. Looking for people to join a D-rank quest to hunt mad goblins. We have a flag up looking for members to investigate the Moonlit Cave. Looking for members for the Moonlit Cave investigation." Just then, Seong-hun spotted a petite girl with short hair shouting. He walked up to her and asked, "Which role is still open for the Moonlit Cave quest?" The girl replied, "Warriors, archers, thieves, mages. We're missing a frontline warrior." Just then, she seemed to notice something about Seong-hun. I was wearing an old cloak and carrying a standard longsword. Even though his clothes were clean, he didn't look like a high-level player. She asked awkwardly, "The Moonlit Cave quest seems easy, but it's actually a C-rank quest. Sorry, but could I ask what your stats are like?" Seong-hun just gave a confident smile and replied, "I guess I can show you." Then, his status window appeared. Soul ID, Seong-hun. Strength, 51. Agility, 80. Stamina, 50. Intelligence, 16. Mana, 0. Luck, 9. Status normal. A soul ID allows others to see your stats. You get it by donating money to the temple. You can change your class so you can fake it. After looking at it, the girl exclaimed in surprise, "Whoa! Strength 51, agility 80? And the other stats are high too. Isn't that at the level of a ranker?" Seong-hun calmly said, "No. I got these stats from a quest through a lucky encounter, and they increased quite a bit. My gear is still pretty bad." The girl was shocked again. "Whoa, a lucky encounter?" "A lucky encounter can get you hidden items and permanent bonus stats from quests." She smiled brightly. "What's your name?" "Seong-hun, right? Nice to meet you, I'm Sung Ah-yeon. With your abilities, Seong-hun, we're definitely good to go. Can you leave right now?" Seong-hun smiled friendly and replied, "Haha, sure, that sounds good." Sung Ah-yeon was happy. "Great, follow me." A while later, the two entered a restaurant. Sung Ah-yeon told her teammate, "Jung Cheon, I found a warrior." The guy took one look at Seong-hun and judged, "What's this? He looks so scrawny. You didn't just drag some random person here, did you?" She quickly explained, "No way! His strength is over 50, and his agility is over 80. Jong Cheon was amazed. "What? Could it be? Are you a ranker?" Sung Ah-yeon quickly denied it. "No, he got his stats from a lucky encounter and got stronger." Only then did Jong Cheon chuckle. "Well, whatever. Since when have you been so helpful?" Then the guy turned to introduce himself to Seong-hun. "Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Park Jong Cheon." Seong-hun thought to himself, that was a short intro. After that, he introduced himself briefly. "Haha, yeah, nice to meet you too. I'm Yu Seong-hun. Since you're older, I'll call you Hyung." Park Jong Cheon then brought out his weapon, confidently saying, "Sure thing, kid. Seong-hun, you can see I'm a warrior. Look at this axe. Cool, right?" Seong-hun rolled his eyes secretly, but still had to praise him. "Whoa, it looks really heavy. You must be really strong." Park Jong-cheon was flattered and laughed heartily. Of course! I'm pretty strong, kid! Ha ha ha! Sung-hun laughed to himself. I doesn't even realize I'm mocking him. What a fool! On this side, Sung Ah-yeon waved and smiled brightly. Heh heh heh. Park Jong-cheon said, and that archer who brought you here is Sung Ah-yeon. The two greeted each other. Then, he pointed to someone dressed entirely in black, even face covered, sitting in the corner. Next, sitting by the wall is Yura. He's a thief, and next to him is a girl with blonde hair and beautiful blue eyes. That girl over there is the famous mage, Luna. Sung-hun thought, Luna? Then he asked, are they foreigners? He was confused, thinking, I thought only Koreans were here. Just then, the mage girl walked over to him. Nice to meet you. Just call me Eli. Sung-hun replied friendly, nice to meet you too. You can call me Sung-hun. Even among rankers, mages are rare because skill books are so expensive, making it hard to get strong. Later, Sung-hun scratched his chin, wondering, including me, there are 2 frontliners. 1 sub-DPS and 2 covering the rear. Isn't that a bit dangerous? Park Jong-cheon replied excitedly. Don't you know about the Moonlit Cave investigation? It's super easy. If there are more people, we have to split the rewards, so it's better to keep it to just this many. Don't worry. With this team, we can easily clear a C-rank quest. Sung-hun heard this and thought, you think I don't know? Of course I know, because I'm the one who leaked that the Moonlit Cave is extremely easy. I sold the map and spread the way to clear this quest. Sung-hun smiled a whisked smile that no one saw. Of course I have to go as a team, but I have another goal. Everyone was teleported to the location. To perform the Moonlit Cave investigation. Then the system window appeared. Moonlit Cave investigation, C rank. Werewolves have started to swarm. The Moonlit Cave is located on a secluded hill. Eliminate the werewolves and investigate why they are swarming there. 3 completion conditions. 1. Explorer. Defeat 20 werewolves, 0-20. 2. Hunter. Defeat 50 werewolves, 0-50. 3. Slaughterer. Defeat 100 werewolves and find out why they are swarming to the Moonlit Cave, 0-100. Standard reward, 100,000 won. Wolf Skin X5. Bonus reward for Slaughterer difficulty, 300,000 won. Low-grade core. Sung-hun was about to draw his sword when Park Jong-cheon quickly stopped him. Stay calm. The monsters don't appear right away. The werewolves only show up once we enter the Moonlit Cave. All right, let's just relax for now. Sehun quickly sheathed his sword and replied. Then, he watched the backs of the 2 ahead chatting happily and thought to himself, amateurs, they look way too relaxed. They must have been here a few times before. Meanwhile, his attention shifted to Eli, who was standing calmly behind him. With an expressionless face, holding her staff, Park Jong-cheon approached her and said, Eli, if you're scared, just lean on my shoulder. Eli, hearing this, looked confused. What? At that moment, Sung Ah-yeon appeared with an angry look and elbowed him in the stomach, then pursed her lips and said, let's head to the Moonlight Cave now. Park Jong-cheon looked at her, bewildered. Ow, wait, you hurt me. Sehun watched the 2 bickering and wondered to himself, are Park Jong-cheon and Sung Ah-yeon a couple? Just then, Eora walked past him while Sung Ah-yeon was still scolding him. I can't believe you, you player. Hurry up, Park Jong-cheon replied helplessly. All right. I get it. Stop hitting me. Sehun looked back at Eli, who was still moving slowly. Suddenly, he reached out his hand toward her. Eli replied, I'm fine. Sehun just smiled and reminded her, it's a steep path, be careful. Besides, since you're a mage, your stamina must be pretty low, right? Even though Eli hesitated. But, Sehun urged her on. Hurry up, grab onto me. At this rate, we're going to get left behind by them. Only then did Eli quickly place her hand on his and replied, okay then. As Sehun led Eli forward, he thought, if she's a ranker, she's definitely very valuable, especially since she's a mage. Making a good impression doesn't hurt, and she's actually pretty easy on the eyes, too. Because the Moonlight Cave contains countless special crystal ores, people often describe the experience of going in as walking into a sky full of stars at night. Suddenly, Eora raised his hand and said loudly, wait! Trap! Trap detection! A necessary skill for a rogue! It can reveal hidden traps. Sehun had also spotted the trap in the rock by then. He could see it thanks to his intermediate trap detection skill. Eora poured some kind of solution onto the rock. Right after that, a large trap was revealed. He looked up and said, "I've disarmed it. We can pass now." Si-hun looked down at the trap and thought, it seems his disarming skill must be at least intermediate. Since that skill is intermediate, his trap detection must be intermediate too, right? Most people are still at the novice level, yet he has intermediate skills. That's quite a surprise. I should be wary of him. After calculating that, Se-hun turned to ask Eli. "Eli, are you a ranker?" She replied, "I'm not sure about myself, but according to others, yes, I am." Se-hun smiled with admiration. "That's amazing. If you're a ranker, you must be very strong, right?" "Whenever I see top-tier rankers, I'm always amazed." Eli happily said, "I can't compare to them. Top-tier rankers are like celestial beings above the sky, or in other words, they are truly the existences of heaven. The two most representative top-tier rankers are the sword demon Marina, who completed the Moonlight Cave Investigation Challenge, C rank, all by herself, and the spear-wielding king Kong Muhan, who possesses high-level spearmanship and built the reputation of Hetifa all by himself, becoming more famous than ever. That was why Eli couldn't feel confident just based on the title of ranker. Then, Se-hun asked seriously, "But mage rankers are rare. Aren't you a top-tier ranker in the mage community?" Hearing that, Eli's cheeks turned pink, a bit shy. "I am very grateful for your compliment, but it's really not to that extent." Suddenly, Park Jung-cheon shouted, "Everyone come here quickly, the werewolves are here!" At that moment, several werewolves were growling toward the group. Se-hun and Eora quickly got into battle stance. Sung Ah-hyun and Eora also gripped their weapons tightly, aiming at the werewolf pack. Park Jung-cheon then spoke up. "Don't attack. Let Se-hun and me handle one each." Se-hun heard this and felt confused, but why? His gaze turned sharp as he thought. Is it because he wants to conserve as much energy as possible from the start? Or does he want to show off? He blinked and agreed to see. Park Jung-cheon quickly used his power, Super Strike, a powerful axe blow that struck down as if to split the space, sending rocks flying into the air. The werewolf was affected by the stones and screamed in pain, mouth wide open, looking up at the sky. But just then a sword appeared in front of that werewolf, making it startled and stunned. Se-hun pointed his sword at the werewolf and calmly said, "Let's face each other head on." The werewolf, furious, lunged forward. Se-hun dodged its attacks while calculating in his head, werewolves have very high physical stats, but their attack patterns are quite simple, and their reach is short. I've poured everything into my dexterity stat, so dodging this isn't hard at all. After calculating, he began to spin his sword hilt, switched hands, and slashed out. It struck the werewolf's body. Blood sprayed everywhere. Sung Ah-hyun witnessed the scene and exclaimed in surprise, "Eli, with those skills? Si-hun is also a ranker. He's handling the werewolf so effortlessly." Eli was also extremely surprised. You're right." Se-hun, meanwhile, looked back, bewildered. "In a world like this, a mission. We'll never know who will stab us in the back. So I plan to fight while hiding my own skills, just in case I got dragged into a fight. Using the new skills of advanced spearmanship, specifically. Park Jung-cheon, on this side, continued to use Leap and the power of Super Strike, an active skill that rapidly increases damage thanks to an immediate boost in physical strength. The werewolf's face twisted as it looked at that power descending. With a single slash, Park Jung-cheon split the werewolf in two. After finishing it, he turned around and laughed confidently. "Ha ha ha! I can do it, right? Huh?" Park Jung-cheon saw Se-hun still diligently fighting the remaining werewolf. What the hell? He's still fighting? The sharp axe blade was swung down instantly, slicing the werewolf right in two. The two girls gazed at Eli in absolute awe and chirped, "Wow, thank you for your hard work." Park Jung-cheon crossed his arms with a smug grin. That was nothing, really." He then turned to look back at Seung-hun. "More importantly, Seung-hun, why did it take you so long to fight that werewolf?" Seung-hun feigned ignorance and said, "Oh, about that. I actually haven't learned any active skills yet." The other four were completely stunned. "What? You don't have a single active skill?" "Yeah, I haven't learned any active skills at all." The group gasped again. "What? You really don't have any active combat moves?" Let me explain a bit. Skills are generally split into two types. Active skills need to be manually triggered by the user, while passive skills are always active. The distribution ratio is usually 3 to 7. But since low-level active skills for warriors, like Strike, Increase damage by over 30%. Everyone usually has at least 1 or 2 active skills. Park Jong-cheon said in disbelief, "How is that even possible? You really don't have any?" Seung-hoon scratched his head, looking embarrassed. "I'm sorry, I couldn't afford to learn them. They're just too expensive. But luckily, my stats are all very high." Park Jong-cheon pursed his lips, deep in thought as he analyzed the situation. I thought to himself, so that's it. There were countless hidden wounds on the werewolf's body, but none of them were fatal. So the reason he lacks a powerful finishing move is because he doesn't have any active skills? Park Jong-cheon pondered for a moment, then gritted his teeth and pointed at him. "You, honestly." Then he started to second-guess himself. Wait, no. If he were just some loser, I would have smacked him already. But his stats are actually top tier. Plus, unlike those kids who just rely on skills, this guy actually has real, fundamental combat ability. Finally, Park Jong-cheon turned away, annoyed. "Fine, whatever. Let's move out." Seung-hoon looked down, feeling sad. "I'm really sorry." The 5 of them continued their journey through the night. As they walked, Park Jong-cheon asked, "Seung-ah, what do you think of him?" She replied, "In terms of pure burst power, you're better. But his fighting instincts are way better. I think he could take on 4 werewolves if he really pushed himself." Park Jong-cheon glanced back cautiously upon hearing that. "I see." He saw that Seung-hoon still had the same dejected look as before. Just then, a pair of dirty, sharp-clawed feet appeared in front of them, and a massive werewolf let out a guttural growl. "Where do you think you're going?" Park Jong-cheon shouted, "Eli, attack!" Eli quickly raised his staff and unleashed his power. "Got it! Ice Spear!" The werewolf was immediately pummeled by the assault. It cried out in pain from Eli's ice spear. Just then, Il-hoon unleashed another attack, a slash that tore right across the werewolf's leg. Seung-ah also drew her bow, aiming straight at the beast. The werewolf, pierced by countless attacks, let out a pathetic howl as it collapsed. Park Jong-cheon stood with his hands on his hips, laughing. "Ha ha, all right, that's that. Nothing to worry about anymore, let's keep going." Seung-hoon, standing behind them, asked in admiration, "You guys are amazing. Il-hoon, what level is your dagger-throwing skill?" Il-hoon glanced back coldly. "Don't ask questions like that to people." Seung-hoon smiled sheepishly. "Sorry about that. I was just curious because your knife-throwing is better than any rogue I've ever known." Il-hoon turned away and replied, "It's just a low-level skill, but I've been practicing." Seung-hoon asked again, "Hey, Park Jong-cheon, how much longer until you finish your quest?" Park Jong-cheon replied happily, "I just need to kill 20 more and I'll finish the adventurer difficulty. After that, I'll get 100,000 jewels and 5 werewolf hides." Seung-hoon thought to himself, "You can't do that, I won't let that happen," then sighed. "Man, the 2 of us are a pretty good team." Just then, Il-hoon spoke up. "Don't say that. Why don't we just go for the Slayer difficulty?" The 2 of them looked over, shocked. "What?" Seung-ah said anxiously. "That's way too hard. We'd have to kill the moon werewolf while solving the mystery of the moonlit cave." Seung-hoon chimed in. "Honestly, if we finish this dungeon, the rewards for adventurer difficulty get divided by 5. Finishing a D-rank quest is better than that." Park Jong-cheon agreed. "True, but that's a bit dangerous." But Il-hoon responded confidently, "It doesn't have to be. Since Seung-hoon here is as good as 2 average warriors, and Eli has such powerful magic, we are perfectly qualified for Slayer difficulty." Park Jong-cheon scratched his head, feeling a headache coming on. Even so, I'm not a fan of taking risks. How about we just try Hunter difficulty?" Il-hoon thought for a moment, then said, "Fine. There are 3 low-level ancient stones as a reward for Slayer difficulty, right? I won't take them." Both Park Jong-cheon and Seung-ah were completely stunned. "What? Seriously?" Seung-hoon watched on, cold and silent. "A low-level ancient stone is worth 100,000 jewels. People don't just give those up easily. What is he thinking?" Unable to help himself, he asked, "Hey, Il-hoon, why are you so determined to clear Slayer difficulty?" Il-hoon explained, "Actually, I'm currently working on my first awakening. I'm trying to advance to a higher class, but the requirement is to complete 3 C-rank missions at the murderer difficulty." Park Jong-cheon clenched his fists, thinking about how he gave up his rewards just to awaken. "Then let's do it at murderer difficulty. Safety first, though. Seung-hoon will keep them controlled like before, and Eli, if things get too hairy, don't hesitate to use your magic," Eli replied. "Got it." Park Jong-cheon turned to Ilion. We've already cleared the Moonlight Cave mission on murderer difficulty before, so we know the drill. Iliu, are you sure you've disarmed all the traps? Iliu answered, yeah, I'm sure. Then he excitedly stepped forward. All right, let's go. Seong-hoon followed behind, lost in thought. Iliu said exactly what I was thinking. If he hadn't said it, I would have requested the same thing. Was his first awakening truly legit? Just then, Ilian easily sliced the werewolves into pieces, while Sung Ahayon gracefully fired arrows that hit their marks every time. The werewolves were torn apart, their bodies scattered across the ground. Park Jong-cheon hoisted his axe over his shoulder and grinned. Now who knows what the boss of this cave looks like? Does anyone know how it appears? Il-hoon asked back. You mean the black werewolf? He confirmed. Oh, exactly. You've done your homework. With a burst of destructive energy, a massive amount of the cave will appear, and there will be 5 werewolves and 1 black werewolf inside. 5 regular werewolves are easy, but that black werewolf, it's incredibly strong. Il-hoon wondered, how strong? Park Jong-cheon rolled his shoulders and said, hard to say, but from my experience, it's like fighting 3 of them at once. Just then, Seong-hoon stepped up. In that case, leave the black werewolf to me. Park Jong-cheon was a bit worried. Really? I'm glad you're volunteering, but are you sure about this? Seong-hoon confidently replied, I don't have any high-damage finishers, but I can keep it under control. Park Jong-cheon heard him and trustingly patted Seong-hoon on the back. All right, I know you're talented. Just remember to keep it pinned down, that's all, he replied. Got it. Then he turned to Ilian. What about the remaining werewolves? If I take out 2, how should we handle the other 3? Ilian, can you handle all 3 by yourself? Eli suddenly appeared and spoke up. I'll handle them with magic. I'll take one down the moment we enter the cave. Seong-hoon will pin down the black werewolf. And Dongchun, you take care of those 2. As for the rest, just leave it to me, Ahayon and Ilyun, to clean them up. That should work. Park Jong-cheon scratched his head. If that's the case. Seong-hoon thought to himself, the battle will be much easier if one of them dies right off the bat. Eli gripped her staff. In that case, she began chanting and power erupted around her. Instantly, a spear formed from the flames of Eli's energy. Seong-hoon was absolutely stunned by the sight. The flow of energy gathering into Eli's spear grew larger and larger. Fireball! A massive, powerful surge of energy was launched by Eli straight ahead. The energy wave washed over the pack of werewolves. Park Dong-cheon gripped his axe tightly and said seriously, we follow the plan. Sung Ah-ayon calmly fired her arrows. Seong-hoon charged forward. Then, with a swift strike, he pierced through the snout of a werewolf. The beast let out a shrill howl and collapsed. Seong-hoon turned to face the giant shadow looming over him and spoke. How long has it been? A giant werewolf with glowing eyes stood before Seong-hoon. He calmly replied to it, nice to see you again, buddy. Cutting to the scene with the wolves, the ferocious beasts lashed out with their claws. Seong-hoon effortlessly dodged their attacks. Seizing a moment of distraction, Seong-hoon unleashed his electrical energy, blasting it directly onto the black werewolf. The wolf's eyes flashed as it lunged, but it was neatly handled by his blade. A moment later, he stopped and mused. They say you can use skills without chanting once your proficiency increases. So it's true. I'll be able to cast spells without drawing any attention. Sung Ah-ayon cheered happily. Whoa, did you defeat the black werewolf all by yourself? Even Dong-cheon can only manage to pin it down, but you took it down the fastest out of all of us. Are you really not a runner, Seong-hoon? Seong-hoon, being praised, broke into a cold sweat. Damn it. If I'd followed the plan, I wouldn't have stood out so much. He cleared his throat and explained, the fireball Eli shot out earlier must have indirectly hit that bastard. Otherwise, how could I have done it? Park Jong-cheon scratched his head. Is that so? I didn't think it actually hit. Sung Ah-ayon turned to Eli and praised her. As expected. It must have been thanks to you. Your spell was amazing. Eli shyly replied, oh, thank you. Seong-hoon finally breathed a sigh of relief. Il-hoon then pulled out a frying pan and asked, anyway, is everyone hungry? I'll cook something up. Why don't we eat and recharge a bit? Before we move on? Park Jong-cheon shouted in surprise. Oh, you even brought cooking ingredients in your bag? That's awesome! Sung Ah-ayon was thrilled. Wow, let's do it! A moment later, a pot of delicious soup appeared. Wow, it smells so good. Everyone sat around the campfire warming up and eating. Thanks for the meal, Ilhun. There's plenty left. Eat as much as you like. Oh, Seong-hun, meanwhile, was lost in thought while eating his soup, checking the system menu. A notification popped up. Poison detection. Food has been tampered with. Poison level, medium. Persistent effect, reduces stamina. Seong-hun glanced at Ilhun. It wasn't Park Dong-cheon or Sung Ah-in. This had to be that bastard Ilhun's doing. Eli noticed he was distracted and asked, "What's wrong? Do you not like it?" Seong-hun smiled and replied, "It's not that. It's delicious, but I think I'm choking." She reminded him, "Haha, take your time." Afterward, Seong-hun watched everyone and thought, this place is similar, yet different from the game. People would naturally assume that if their physical stats changed, a window would appear. But there are ways to cheat the system, like the poison skill I just acquired. If someone lacks the right skills to react, the poisoned person won't even realize it. Besides, it doesn't matter. Even if no one had poisoned them, I would have fed it to them anyway. Seong-hun's system notified him. You have been detoxified for consuming the antidote. Later, after everyone finished eating, they started to head out. All right, let's start moving. Just a little further now. Suddenly, in front of them were two tunnels branching off in different directions. Eli pointed in surprise. Oh, the path splits into two. Where should we go? Park Dong-cheon held his shield, confidently saying, The left path has no monsters, but it's full of traps and the route is very complex. Last time we turned left, we encountered a lot of trouble. Is that so? Sung Ah-in quickly added. Ah, that's right. So we need to turn right. The werewolves appear in groups of two, so we can easily fight them. And then we just kill the Moonlight Wolf awakened in the final boss room and we're done. Eli's eyes lit up at that. The Moonlight Wolf? She then took the lead and started walking inside. Then let's hurry. I want to see what this Moonlight Wolf looks like. Sung Ah-in excitedly ran after her. Hey, wait for us! At this moment, Seong-hun placed his hand on a square section of the wall. As he acted, he cautiously observed the people around him. I should make my move too, shouldn't I? He pressed the secret trigger. Immediately, a tremor occurred. Everyone else, clueless, panicked. What's happening? The ceiling! The cave is collapsing! Everyone run! Run! You're going to get crushed! As everyone scrambled to escape, the ceiling collapsed. Seong-hun stood amidst the debris, thinking, not going this way would have been a waste. Pretending I couldn't do anything is exhausting, so this is much better. Park Dong-cheon pulled himself up, wiping his face, coughing. Cough, cough! Is everyone okay? There were traps here? Hey, Ilhun! Didn't you see the traps? Ilhun stammered in response. No, I didn't. I never expected there to be traps like that here. Then everyone realized Seong-hun was no longer there. Wait, where's Seong-hun? He's not here. Could it be that he didn't make it out in time? Ilhun spoke up. It looks like this was a one-time trap. I'm sorry. Park Dong-cheon was furious. Hey, are you joking right now? You think saying sorry is enough when a comrade dies? Eli reassured him. Stay calm. His agility stat is very high, so he must have dodged it. Sung Ah-in added, That's right, we managed to dodge it too. So he wouldn't die from a trap like that. Park Dong-cheon turned and asked, Then do you think we can meet up with Seong-hun if he took the left path? Sung Ah-in replied worriedly, The left path is full of traps, so it's very difficult to reach the boss room. Park Dong-cheon's expression turned uneasy. We can't do anything now. It's a bit risky, but we can definitely kill it. In his heart, he calculated. Still 20 left to go before completing the mission. Let's go. Having said that, the remaining group continued deeper into the cave. They didn't notice that at the end of the cave, a faint light appeared. As they got closer, it was a werewolf. Huge and ferocious, its eyes glowing. It stared ahead. Eli raised her staff and began attacking it with fireballs. Fireball! She used that power to attack the boss. But the werewolf boss didn't seem hurt at all. Then, it let out an earth-shattering roar. Moonlight Wolf of the Moonlight Cave has awakened. All stats reduced by 10% due to the Moonlight Wolf's roar. Park Dong-cheon charged forward, swinging his axe at the Moonlight Wolf. Sung Ah-in pulled out an arrow, intending to shoot, but her body began to tremble. Huh? What is? Something isn't right. My arrow feels heavier than usual. What's going on? She struggled to draw her bow. On the other side, Eli had lost all her strength, dropping her staff. She collapsed to the ground, powerless. Sung Ah-in panicked and called out, Eli! At that very moment, a sword slashed at Sung Ah-hin's waist. It was none other than Il-hun. He said coldly, "I was going to twist the blade after stabbing her. But this much is enough, because she might wake up otherwise." Sung Ah-in looked at him in pain and disbelief. Il-hun." After that, both girls collapsed, unconscious. Il-hun then spoke up again. "It'll be at least a day before you wake up since you were stabbed with a poisoned blade." Then he turned toward Park Dong-cheon. "Now let's end this here." Il-hun decisively threw a flying dagger, and it stuck straight into Park Dong-cheon's calf. He fell to the ground, gasping in disbelief. What, you?" Il-hun stood in front of him, flipping a knife in his hand, making him extremely angry. "Il-hun, you bastard, you're betraying us?" Il-hun just gave a sinister, smug smile. Park Dong-cheon's whole body trembled with pain. Wait, who ordered you to do this? Huh?" Il-hun tossed the knife and calmly said, "No one. It was my own idea, so I secretly investigated you. This is the last raid, isn't it?" Park Dong-cheon, hearing this, was both worried and furious. Then he said, Fine. Just kill me if you want, but please spare Ah-hyan. You can take all the rewards for yourself, so just leave Ah-hyan alone." But he interrupted, "Sorry, that wish can't be granted. Because all these rewards and relics you guys have are worthless. They're just a little bonus for me." Just then, the Moon Wolf boss behind Park Dong-cheon lunged at him, its sharp teeth sinking right into his shoulder. At that very moment, a beam of light appeared behind the Moon Wolf, revealing a large stone tablet with an inscription. "Those who are interrupted will lose their sanity and fall into a deep slumber. 3 shall be offered as sacrifices, and my humanity shall awaken. You shall receive the treasure." That's how the text on the moonstone translates. It means if you succeed in awakening the Moon Wolf by offering 3 people, you'll get the treasure. Are you really that gullible? Seong-hun flashed a satisfied smile and stepped inside. Just as I thought, he betrayed them. Elaine turned around and replied confidently,
Let's talk like you know everything, shall we?"
"Because you're going to die anyway," Seong-hun said coldly. "Aren't 3 sacrifices enough?" He turned around, shocked. How can you, a warrior who learned the language skill? Who would believe that?" "Looks like you've got a mountain of cash to burn, huh?" He replied calmly. "You know you're the same. Besides, I don't think this is the time for small talk." Island began to take a combat stance. "I knew something was off from the start. Your moves are exactly like a player's, but—" "Moon Piercer!" He lunged forward, attacking Seong-hun. The 2 forces collided, creating a flash of light. Island slashed, but he dodged it. While dodging, he analyzed the attacks. High speed, great power. Since this is a martial arts type, facing him head-on will definitely be tough. If he has 2 lives, it'll be a pain if he respawns. Seong-hun then used ring steps, dashing around Island like a ghost, leaving him bewildered. After appearing behind him, Seong-hun slashed his back. Island clutched his shoulder, hurt and confused. By now, the poison should have spread throughout his body and slowed his movements down, right? But it had absolutely no effect. Did this guy not eat that soup? Finished. His eyes turned to disbelief. No, I saw with my own eyes that everyone ate it. It meant he had neutralized the poison. Seong-hun lunged with his sword. Island turned around in a panic, shouting, "Moon Piercer!" Immediately, Seong-hun vanished from his spot, circled above him, and drove his sword straight into his neck. Island now had no strength left. His whole body slumped to the ground, crying out in pain. Seong-hun dragged him along, saying, "Oh no, you can't die yet." Then he tossed Island's body toward the Moon Wolf boss and said nonchalantly, "Enjoy your meal." In an instant, Eileen was nearly swallowed whole by one bite of the Moon Wolf. Eileen's hand slowly faded away. Seong-hun frowned, suddenly realizing, oh no, was that his first life? If we meet again, it'll be troublesome. Now, he turned toward where the 2 girls were lying unconscious on the ground. I need to offer another sacrifice to the Moon Wolf. Leaving the player mage alive will be more beneficial. Calculations done, Seong-hun picked up Sung Ah-hyan and brought her to the Moon Wolf's mouth. Sorry, but I guess Ah-hyan has to be the sacrifice. The Moon Wolf lunged crazily toward Sung Ah-hyan. The image appeared, and we could see the girl being torn to pieces and devoured by it. Sung Ah-hyan's body also began to fade. Seong-hun thought. That was her first life too, but since they're poisoned, she won't remember anything. If we meet again, I'll just play the victim. Just then, a notification appeared. The moon wolf is awakening, transforming into awakened moon wolf. Seong-hun marveled. It's become much larger than before it awakened. But it seems that thanks to Jongcheon, it doesn't have as much strength. Seong-hun confidently lunged, slashing a few times. I just need to do a basic strike. I can complete the mission if I touch the moonstone here, but if I smear the moon wolf's blood on the stone, a secret passage that few know about will open. After he smeared the wolf's blood on the large tablet, it began to crack. A moment later, it split open, revealing an iron door behind it. The door slowly opened, showing a dark dungeon inside. The first time I killed the moon wolf, I came here. The treasure I dreamed of couldn't be found anywhere else, and I was surprised to find chests containing wolves in a state of suffocation. If you use the low-level language skill, the writing on the moonstone translates to, "One will receive treasure that can revive my clan." But if you use the mid-level language skill, it translates to, "One will bring friends who have the ability to revive my clan." There are about 50 wolves here, unable to resist. Each werewolf heart is worth 4,000 gold, and their fangs are worth 1,000 gold. Let's round the whole lot up to 300,000 gold. Then came the critical strikes from Seong-hun on the werewolves. Immediately after wiping out the 50 werewolves, his intermediate sword mastery level increased rapidly. Betraying others and using them as sacrifices is a dirty act, but if I can't even do that, I won't be able to upgrade my sword mastery. Later, Seong-hun appeared next to Eli, who was still unconscious. He poured some kind of liquid into her mouth. Right after that, Eli slowly opened her eyes. When she stood up, she panicked. "Seong-hun? What just happened?" Seong-hun replied with a calm expression. "You're awake? Island betrayed us. I think he poisoned everyone." His expression showed a hint of helplessness. "It's a shame, really, that when I got here, everything is already too late." Cheon and Ahayon heard this and felt incredibly sad, unable to believe it. Then she thanked Yu Seong-hun, saying if it weren't for him, she would have been killed here without anyone knowing, and Yu Seong-hun smiled and said there was no need to thank him like that. "I just did what I had to do." Eli suddenly felt a bit shy. "That was the reason I thanked you, because I know people like you are rare," and Yu Seong-hun wore a winning smile. Then he spoke up, inviting her. "So want to team up with me?" The scene shifts to a dilapidated building where angry shouting can be heard. "Die, die, die, you bitch! Get out there, bring your mother back, bring her here!" And the person being cursed at is Eli. "When I was young, I was born from a marriage of convenience. My mother ran away as soon as she could, and I had to make a choice to avoid dying at the hands of my abusive father. At night, while everyone was sleeping, I placed a coal brazier near his head. After he fell asleep from drunkenness, my father died of carbon monoxide poisoning, and no one suspected me as long as I behaved properly. People easily trusted me. And when the mission started, I stabbed a man in the neck. A man I had pretended to seduce, which is how I earned the title The Survivor. Cowardly and able to keep living in this mission world, I already knew the secret of the moonstone and that Ilu was poisoning the food, so I was looking for an opening by pretending to be poisoned. But the person who seemed most innocent killed Ilu in a horrible way, and then calmly deceived me. So I pretended to be fooled. Eli calmly watched Yu Seong-hun lie and invite her to team up. "Will you team up with me?" She decided to reach out to Yu Seong-hun. For the first time, I saw someone like him, and I wanted to know more about him. Eli put on a captivated expression and replied, "Of course." Meanwhile, in a city floating in the air, a voice spoke up, "Things are progressing too slowly, Loki." And Loki winked excitedly. There wasn't enough motivation from the start. So naturally, there will be delays along the way. You are the strongest and the one who knows the most, but sometimes your brain doesn't work well. A red-faced man opposite him angrily slammed the table. "Loki, I will not tolerate any disrespectful words." Another person quickly calmed him down. "It's okay, Atula. If the motivation isn't enough, we just need to create more for them, right? Allow players to compare their strength. Doing so will boost their fighting spirit, and frequently create mandatory quests that all players must participate in. Difficulty S rank should be enough to increase it," another replied. "If you do that, no one will be able to do it." He reassured them, "Don't worry, at least we know that." "Is there anyone among them you are specifically observing?" One of them asked. "I choose Eli, who has a good foundation in basic magic," Atula continued. "Marina and Kang Muhan are also skilled." Loki then smirked and said, "But I like that guy, Yu Seong-hun." Satan was surprised and blurted it out, "Yu Seong-hun?" The girl with flaming hair then spoke up. Ah, the one who cleared the tutorial mission the fastest, right? I don't understand why. Loki chose him. If it were Zac Efron from America, I would understand. Zac Efron is the one who caught everyone's attention in the city where Americans gather. Simply put, Hai is absolute evil, a psychopath who finds joy in killing. Loki seemed to notice every move Yu Seong-hun made and secretly calculated, I want to choose someone a bit more evil than what Satan wants. The kind of dirty, cunning evil, someone who only seeks immediate benefit from everything. That's why I chose Yu Seong-hun. Lucifer then spoke up. Then I will proceed to update the system according to your words. The guide man replied, all right. Then, an information board appeared for the players. System update details. 1. Ranking system introduction. Names will be displayed in order of stat points from highest to lowest. By adding them up, depending on the rank, there will be additional rewards every month. Rank can be changed through duels. Special stamina used in duels will be created when challenging someone. If stamina hits 0, the challenge will be forced to stop. 2. Mandatory quest activation. The difficulty of the mandatory quest that all players must participate in after half a month is rank 5. You cannot leave the mandatory quest halfway. Rewards are given based on your performance, ranging from the best legendary grade items to additional lives. There will be balance updates for the mandatory quest. After reading that notice, the players constantly protested, What? You want us to die? How is this different from a death sentence? Just then, someone rushed in through the door in a panic. Big Brother Muhan, did you see the new update? This is... Kong Muhan calmly said, Don't be too scared. The last line says there will be balance updates. If they wanted to kill us all, they wouldn't use such a complicated way, so I'm sure they will create a way for us to complete the mission, said the leader, the top spearman, Kong Muhan. After saying that, he smiled happily, thinking, Besides, I can receive great rewards thanks to this update. I won't have any other chance but to throw myself into the mission to increase my survival chances. Just then, outside on the street, cheers were heard. Does anyone want to do a rank-up mission? With me? Any skill level is fine. Looking for rare grade gear for physical fighters. Please show me beforehand. Looking for teammates. Yu Seong-hun was sitting in a cafe, drinking while looking at the scene outside. They were all rushing because of the new rewards mentioned, while the 2 boxes that appeared in his inventory bothered him more. As soon as he checked the information, a notification screen appeared. Runner's gift. You have been issued a suitable gift to express respect for reaching 21st place on the overall ranking board. Loki's gift. A gift from Loki. The god who is watching you. After reading it, Yu Seong-hun frowned, thinking, I understand the gift for the runner because the update details mentioned it, but what is Loki's gift? Loki. Where have I heard this name before? It feels like I saw it in the Avengers. Then he tapped the screen, and immediately a scroll appeared in front of him, making Yu Seong-hun jump in surprise. What is this? The information about the scroll appeared. Deception. High rare grade, passive classification. The other party will believe what you say is true. Slightly increases the chance of the other party being persuaded by you. This Cloud Hun book. It's supposed to be a rare grade skill book, but it doesn't seem to do anything. It feels like it's tailored for me, but I guess something is better than nothing, especially since it's a high rare rank. Just then, someone pulled out the chair opposite him. Seo-hun quickly closed his screen. Eli smiled gently. Finished another C-rank quest? You're about to go through your first awakening too, right? Seo-hun replied cheerfully. Yeah, that's right. Internally, he thought, Eli managed to change his class to apprentice mage. Eli continued, Have you thought about what kind of quest you're going to take? Surprise attack? Ambushing an army of skeletons? Or a defensive war at the coastal fortress? Seo-hun sipped his tea calmly while weighing his options. I found someone who fits the bill, thanks to the info Eongji provided. A soul guide named Yu Charon. She mainly focuses on escorting groups. If I start a large group quest, the rewards per person will drop, but it'll be much safer. He spoke up. I've got a great idea. Let's go. Eli responded, Sure. Outside on the street, the soul guide, Yu Charon, was happily recruiting everyone. C-rank group escort quest. We're moving out. Everyone followed, extremely excited. Seo-hun brought Eli over to Yu Charon and asked, Do you have room for 2 more? She replied, We do have space, but could I see your combat record before you join? Seo-hun quickly pulled up his information for Yu Charon to read. Here you go. After reading it, she couldn't help but exclaim happily, "Whoa, your stats are pretty high, Seo-hun. You must be a ranker. And you, Eli, are a mage, right?" Seo-hun quickly interjected. "It's nothing like that. I haven't even had my first awakening yet." Yu Sharon smiled, her eyes squinting. "Seems like you want to awaken before doing the mandatory quest. In that case, you must be a ranker." Seeing that, he fell silent. "She's sharp," Yu Sharon continued. "But everyone here is great. Better than anyone else. It's so good to have two rankers." Seo-hun gasped internally. "Another ranker besides me?" He slowly turned around and saw a figure cloaked from head to toe. A single blue pupiled eye peeked out from the dark hood. Seo-hun broke into a cold sweat, thinking to himself, "That person is—" Just then Yu Sharon shouted, "All right, let's get started." As she began to fade away, Seo-hun hurried to turn back. "Wait, wait, wait!" But she had already vanished into thin air, leaving behind an achievement board. Want. Courier. Reached the destination in 22 days, under 20 deaths, less than 50% cargo loss. 2. Attendant. Reached the destination in half a month, under 15 deaths, less than 25% cargo loss. 3. Protector. Reached the destination in 10 days, under 10 deaths, less than 10% cargo loss. Standard reward, 300,000 guild points, plus 100 excellence. Additional reward for completing Protector difficulty, 600,000 guild points, 30 high-grade recovery potions. Seo-hun suddenly appeared in another area. He scratched his head helplessly. "Damn it! It just started like that." Eli walked over and asked, "Seo-hun, why are you acting like that all of a sudden? Are you okay?" Right then, the person in the cloak appeared there and spoke up. "Long time no see." Eli turned to Seo-hun and said, "Seo-hun, I think that person is talking to you." Seo-hun hurriedly looked the other way, his expression stiff, and spat out, "You've got the wrong person." Seeing that expression, Eli snickered. "Pfft, ha ha, why do you sound like a robot?" Just then, a sharp blade was pointed straight at his throat. The cloaked figure said, "It's good that we could at least meet like this. I've wanted to spar with you at least once before the mandatory quest starts in half a month." As she spoke, she slowly removed her hood. Seo-hun looked at the character, his face helpless. "Damn it! I've been avoiding her so well." The face revealed from under the cloak was Marina. A moment later, Seo-hun had to speak up. Miss Marina, why do you keep following me and bothering me?" Marina challenged him. "Seo-hun, let's have a real fight." "I know your skills are more than enough to beat me." Seo-hun hurriedly waved his hands. "No way. No matter how you look at it, I'm weaker than you. I'd be sliced in two the moment we started." Marina turned away, looking disappointed. "I don't know why you hate fighting so much. You mean you don't want to fight me because you feel insulted, right?" Seo-hun jumped in surprise. "No, I'm really weak." At this moment, Eli reminded them, "Sorry, everyone is getting further and further away. Can't we just get there first and then you two talk?" Seo-hun turned to Marina. "Let's just go first for now." She replied, "Fine." Eli asked curiously, "Seo-hun, who is that?" Seo-hun replied calmly, "I'm sure you've heard of her. The magic swordsman, Marina." When Eli heard that, his eyes lit up with admiration. "The magic swordsman, Marina? You don't mean the top-tier ranker, Marina?" Seo-hun confirmed. "That's her." Hearing this, Eli hurriedly ran toward Marina. She cheered happily. "Miss Marina, I'm your fan. Can I get an autograph?" Marina coldly and bluntly replied, "I refuse." Rejected, Eli wilted like a dying plant. "Ugh, rejected again." Seo-hun turned to comfort her. "She's always like that. She looks fine on the outside, but she's actually obsessed with fighting to the point of insanity. She doesn't even realize how uncomfortable she makes the people around her." Walking behind them, Marina snapped, "I heard that." Seo-hun could only scratch his head helplessly. Completing this challenge should have been easy, but I'm probably going to have a hard time because of Marina. Over on Yu Sharon's side, she stood on top of a wagon and shouted, "Everyone! Get ready! The orcs will attack soon!" Everyone cheered in unison. "Yeah!" Quickly, Yu Sharon turned to the three of them. "Miss Marina, take care of the front. And Seo-hun, I'll leave the right flank to you," Marina replied. "Understood." Just then, a bunch of orcs ran out, swinging clubs, intending to attack everyone. "Kill all the humans!" Afterward, everyone rushed out to fight the orcs. "I defeated the first one. Everyone use magic! Ah, kill them all!" Marina quickly drew her sword. Then, a single stroke of her blade neatly sliced through several of them at once. Sharon and the others were extremely astonished and cheered at the sight. Even Seo-hun was stunned, muttering to himself, "She's so fast, wiping out the orcs in the blink of an eye. What should I do? If I face Marina head-on, I'll definitely be killed. Just as I thought, the only way is..." After dealing with Marina, Sharon wiped the sweat from her forehead and instructed everyone, "Everyone did a great job. Let's take a break and grab something to eat." Everyone was incredibly excited after the battle. A moment later, bowls of soup were filled up. As Sharon was distributing food to everyone, Seong-hun approached her with concern. "Don't you need to rest too? Sharon, let me handle this." She looked up, startled. "Oh, Seong-hun?" Then she watched him, thinking, everyone is just focused on eating and treats this as normal, but this guy is different. Sharon handed the task over to him, turned away and smiled. "Thanks, I appreciate the help." Just then, Marina appeared beside Seong-hun and spoke up. "Looking at how you live, arrogant and pushy, yet still thinking of others. You really are a true martial artist, aren't you, Seong-hun?" He smiled brightly and replied, "You're pretty amazing yourself, Marina. If you keep grinding like this, you'll leave me in the dust soon." Marina pursed her lips in silence at that, then said, "You're buttering me up too much, Seong-hun." Her sharp gaze flickered toward someone else. This is the moment. He quickly poured a strange, toxic substance into her soup bowl. As Seong-hun handed the food to Marina, the others urged him, "Hey Seong-hun, how much longer are you going to keep us waiting?" He calmly served everyone while keeping an eye on Marina's movements. "All right, there's a high chance I'll win. If I just wait for the poison to kick in." As Marina ate the soup, a notification suddenly appeared. "Poison resistance has detected you have been poisoned. Level 3 danger detected. You have been poisoned. Martial artist heart has detected abnormal mana flow. High-grade poison detected. Immediate effect. Stat reduction. Poison resistance is activating. Poison strength reduced by 50%. Spiritual unity is activating. Poison strength reduced by 38% based on mana stats. Poison resistance is fully activated. Poison cleared from body." Marina continued eating calmly for a while, then approached Seong-hun. He turned and asked, "What's the matter, Marina? Do you want some more?" She said cautiously. "No. Come here. Let me talk to you quietly. There's poison in the food." Seong-hun was stunned and blurted out, "Huh?" Marina continued, "I know you're shocked, but stay calm. It seems the goblins put poison in the food. Tell everyone and get ready to fight. I'll go patrol the area." Seong-hun broke into a cold sweat and replied, "I understand." Then, he thought in a panic, "How did she know? Thank goodness she doesn't suspect me." But that's terrifying. Eli, watching from a distance, also gasped in surprise. Even Seong-hun would have a hard time going against Marina's magic sword, right? It seems like they've fought once before. Should I help him? She ran over to Marina with a bright smile. "Sister Marina, where are you going?" Marina turned away coldly. "How many times do I have to tell you? We're the same age, no need to call me sister." Eli felt hurt and teared up. "You don't like it? I'm sorry, you just remind me so much of my older sister that I called you that instinctively. I'll be more careful from now on." Marina, seeing this, awkwardly said, You can call me sister if you want. Just call me that." Eli quickly brightened up and hugged her arm tightly. "Thank you, Sister Marina. You don't have to use honorifics with me. Let's go together." "Heh heh heh." Marina was still very flustered. I want to sleep alone." At that moment, Eli cast a debuff spell on Marina. Marina's notification rang, detected. Level 3 danger detected. You have been cursed. Martial artist heart has detected abnormal body condition. Level 4 curse detected. Effect, ability reduction. Spiritual unity is activating. Curse strength reduced by 31% based on mana stats. Poison resistance is activating. Curse strength reduced by 25%. Marina quickly turned back and shouted, "Eli! Go back and report to Seong-hun immediately," Eli asked in confusion. "Sorry, report what?" She explained, "I just got cursed. The food I ate earlier also had poison in it. But seeing how I was just cursed like that, I'm sure we've been targeted." Eli turned pale, thinking in disbelief, how could she see through the curse being cast without anyone noticing? A moment later, Sharon mused, "Strange. No monsters around here have ever used poison or curses. But we can't be sure, so let's take turns keeping watch. Seong-hun stood to the side, looking at Marina in confusion. Marina's sharp gaze was firm. No matter what happens, I have to fight you, even if the monsters attack. Or even if I'm poisoned, or even if I'm cursed. Seong-hun could only feel helpless. There's no way to delay this anymore, I have to do it. We went through so much trouble to get here. He spoke up. All right, but let's just do 10 rounds, okay? If we delay, it will affect the speed of completing the trial. Marina replied, Fine, but promise me after the trial ends, let's spar one more time. Seong-hun reluctantly agreed. All right, let's go to that place I found. There are too many people here. He whispered to himself, if I go there, I might feel more confident. A while later, facing each other, Seong-hun grew tense and reassured himself, Stay calm. I'm the 21st ranked runner after all. No matter how strong Marina is. There's no way I'll lose 10 times in a row. Whatever happens, I'll just try to endure it. Marina, standing opposite me, speaks up. Let's start now. She then charges straight ahead to attack Seong-hun. Seong-hun quickly backs away, then uses teleportation to dodge. He's just narrowly avoiding Marina's attacks. He's counting. Match 9, match 8, match 7. Marina feels confused. What is this? Seong-hun is leaving so many openings. Is he teaching me how to attack, or does he think I'm not on his level? To make him fight seriously. While she's overthinking it, Seong-hun, on his side, is sweating bullets. All right, I'll keep luring her toward the trap I set up earlier, just like this. Just like this. Right then, a sharp sword tip strikes right in front of him. The sword in Seong-hun's hand is knocked away. Damn it, my sword! Seong-hun accidentally steps into his own trap. He miscalculated the distance, gets caught in it, loses his balance, and kicks backward, hitting the back of Marina's knee. As she struggles, her luck doesn't stop there. Marina stumbles forward in shock. Seong-hun, with a bewildered expression, watches his opponent fall. Huh? Huh? Seong-hun's arms flail wildly. They accidentally make perfect contact with Marina's chin as she falls. A moment later, Marina is lying flat on the ground. Seong-hun looks down, still looking bewildered. Regardless of how it happened, the important thing is that I won. What should I do now? Damn it, I meant to hold back. How did it end up like this? The girl's hand starts to move. Marina tries to sit up, her whole body trembling. She fixes her dress and then looks at her opponent in disbelief. I lost? Seong-hun awkwardly reaches out his hand. Are you okay? Marina immediately asks. Did you study swordsmanship too? Seong-hun scratches his head, stammering. Huh? I didn't study anything like... Well, I studied something similar. Inside, he thinks, I guess I can say I've studied swordsmanship. Maybe because I have intermediate martial arts? Hearing that, Marina bows her head even deeper. No. To think he could gracefully dodge my sword strikes by backing up and crouching. He must have predicted everything from the start. The arrogant one wasn't him. It was me. Tears stream down her face. Marina stands up and says, I know losers shouldn't act like this, but can I ask you one more question? Seong-hun is confused. Sure, go ahead and ask. Marina hides her wet eyes behind her bangs. Why did you finish with your hand instead of your sword? This time he answers honestly, because when I lose my sword, I have to use my hands. Marina becomes even more miserable, overthinking it. Does he mean he deliberately used his hands to avoid unnecessary bloodshed? Compared to someone obsessed with winning and just charging in like me, Seong-hun ended the fight perfectly. While she dwells on the minimized damage, she spins around and declares, I lost today. Seong-hun hurries to explain, No, not at all. Actually, you should have won. She silences him, saying, Don't pity me anymore. The winner shouldn't comfort the loser. With the lesson I learned today, I will grow stronger, so I request that you fight me again in the future. Seong-hun reluctantly replies, Well, if it's in the future, then sure. Afterward, he becomes flustered. What the hell just happened? She almost cried. Did I do something wrong? Other than the match on the 8th day, no unexpected changes occurred. The merchant escort ended safely. Previously, Seong-hun was the one avoiding Marina, but perhaps because of the match, now Marina is the one avoiding Seong-hun. As the merchants entered the city, a message appeared. Mission clear. Marina nods slightly before light surrounds her and she disappears. Seong-hun thinks to himself, Well, it'll be quiet for a while now, I guess. Suddenly, an old man calls to him from behind. Hey, wait! Seon-hoon turns back and asks, "Is there a problem?" The old man smiles and replies, "I've been watching you closely, and you've helped us many times. Of course, you had to protect the merchants, but you had no obligation to share. Your food and clean up. Don't you want to help yourself?" Seon-hoon thinks to himself, "I didn't have any ulterior motives when I did that." The old man continues, "At first, I thought at least half of the cargo would be damaged on this trip because so many monsters were attracted by the formium extract, but thanks to you, our cargo didn't suffer any losses. And we arrived safely." Seon-hoon just coldly says, "Congratulations." Inside, he's confused. What is he trying to say? Suddenly, the old man holds out a red glass vial. "Take this." Upon seeing it, he exclaims in surprise, "Formium extract." The item's attributes appear: formium extract, high grade, rank, rare, category, potion, a type of extract created using various types of magic. The ingredient is the rare formium herb. The components of the formium extract have the characteristic of making monsters excited. It is a necessary catalyst for increasing magic. Seon-hoon holds the vial, sweating bullets. Formium extract is one of the extremely expensive trade goods. This is why players take this quest many times and help the NPCs. Just then, Eli approaches, hugging his arm and smiling, saying, "Seon-hoon, are you going to give that to me?" Seon-hoon annoyedly reminds her, "Stop making that cute face, all right?" Eli hears this, puffs out her cheeks and glares at him. Then she starts negotiating. "In that case, can you give me a discount? The shop normally sells it for 30,000 gil. Lower it to 20,000 gil for me." Seon-hoon scratches his head, thinking, well, a mage like Eli definitely needs it more than I do. Then he hands over the vial. "All right, fine." Eli cheers happily. "Whoa!" Seon-hoon is a bit helpless. "You like it that much?" Eli hugged the bottle like a gift her mom brought home from the market, excitedly saying, "Of course! Most spells below level 4 can use this extract as a catalyst, you know. The time before the mandatory quest starts is a bit short, so I'm planning to upgrade my gear and enhance my skills at once." Seon-hoon looked at her expression and thought to himself, "Eli, she's right. Instead of hunting in the remaining time, it's better to improve myself. The gear I have is still useful, so I should try to awaken first." Philip. Scene change. At the Job Change Temple. Seon-hoon approached, and Philip spoke first. Oh, long time no see, remember me?" Seon-hoon replied, "Of course." Philip smiled. He got straight to the point. "Tell me, what path do you want to choose? I hope you make a decision you won't regret." Then, the job titles appeared. Swordsman, Assassin, Trapper, First-Class Swordsman, Samurai, Poisoner. First-Class Explorer. Seon-hoon seriously analyzed each job. First-Class Explorer. The melee ability is too weak. Right now, my style is purely melee. Other skills are just support. I've been getting by just fine thanks to my swordsmanship, but I realized how important melee capability is after the fight with Marina. So that's why there's a recommendation for Samurai, huh? Philip smiled brightly and said, "Hard to choose, isn't it? If you pay triple now, you can change your job." Seon-hoon cleared his throat, then continued analyzing. "It's almost time for the S-rank quest. Dozens of players have already thrown themselves into B-rank quests. So the S-rank quest will definitely be much harder. I need an ability that can react to any situation that arises. Just like before." For the S-rank quest, having made his choice, Seon-hoon smiled and blurted out, "I want to awaken as a Nam swordsman." Philip quickly complied and performed the operation. "As you wish. Congratulations on choosing the path of the Nam swordsman." Immediately, the status window appeared. You have awakened as a Nam swordsman. All your stats increase by 5. Skill proficiency increases slightly. Job skill level increased. You have learned an exclusive skill for the swordsman class. Incantation. You have learned an exclusive skill for the swordsman class. Evaporate. You have learned an exclusive skill for the swordsman class. Rise and fall Nam swordsman. For a long time, swordsmen have searched for all knowledge and craved enlightenment. Swordsmen have divided enlightenment and skills into 3 levels: heaven, earth, and man. Through many ups and downs, the swordsman. Nam realized that much knowledge can be combined into one, and it's easy to use incantations instead of magic. After receiving his new job, Seon-hoon looked down at his hands and said, "Now I have a lot to think about." Philip replied happily, "Ha ha ha, When you awaken, you'll receive the corresponding exclusive skills. He clenched his fist in determination. Good or bad, it's done. I just need to learn and get used to the skills before the mandatory quest begins. Scene change. In an inn room at night. Seo-hoon was lying in the room but still lost in thought. Tomorrow, the quest starts. Suddenly, something light appeared beside his bed. Seo-hoon quickly jumped up and exclaimed, Jerry? Jerry stood there, smiling brightly, saying, I wish I could talk to you longer, but unfortunately there isn't much time. He quickly announced, the S-rank quest, Dawn Dispels the Darkness, that you're about to undertake will be conducted through the body of an NPC. In this quest, there will be a balanced version for all players. It allows players to enter bodies with high stats to level up your skills. Seo-hoon asked seriously, wait a minute. Does that mean I can't use the skills I currently have? Jerry still wore a smile, denying it. No, of course not. Player abilities will be amplified in the NPC you inhabit. Occasionally, we even have hero-grade NPCs. If you have motivation, the difficulty of this quest will decrease even further. The gods don't create S-rank quests without careful consideration. This quest is the story of the deciding battle of the heroes who wanted to kill the Demon King before he invaded the world. It will be divided into 3 locations. The lowlands, where relatively low-level players fight the demon army, the fortress above the dungeon where the Demon King resides, and the battlefield where the top-level players aim for the Demon King's head. All 3 locations are linked, and if one place is pushed back, the quest will become difficult to complete. Seo-hoon continued, so the performance of each player in this quest is very important? Jerry snapped his fingers, affirming, exactly. But if you can complete this quest, there will be a legendary grade item. Then he bowed before Seo-hoon and raised a finger. There's also a mountain of treasure, and of course, an extra life. Seo-hoon was shocked, thinking to himself, an extra life? But Jerry quickly vanished into space, leaving one last sentence. It seems time is up. Good luck. Very quickly, a new quest board appeared. Conquer the Demon King, rank 5. The Demon King, who is about to plunge this world into darkness, has been severely wounded by the hero's attacks and is hiding in the deepest part of the dungeon to heal. Destroy the Demon King and restore peace to this world. Completion conditions. Kill the Demon King. Reward, 50,000 quest points. Seo-hoon slowly opened his eyes and saw a luxurious chandelier. It started. For now, I'll observe my surroundings first. He hurriedly turned toward the mirror on the table. Huh? Then, an unbelievable sight appeared. Seo-hoon had possessed the body of a girl. Seo-hoon's sweat just poured down and he blurted out, What is this? No, it's not here. It's not here. It should have been here, shouldn't it? What on earth? Right now, the system's info panel is popping up. Serena's class, Awakened Swordsman. Title, The Emperor's Only Princess. Inclination, 6. Demonic Energy, 2,150. Total Fame, 7,800. Stats, Strength, 68 plus 21. Agility, 92 plus 31. Stamina, 59 plus 12. Intelligence, 77 plus 139. Magic, 69 plus 181. Luck, 35 plus 51. Status, normal. Seo-hoon is panicking, thinking, if these stats aren't boosted, I'm no better than a regular person. Wait, calm down. These stats are actually on par with a mage. I guess that's fine. I don't need to make the first move, and I'm sure I've got some good skills. The ones added are Awakened Swordsman's low-level skills, Blink and, spellcasting? Wait, luck? Luck? What's with the playing instruments, bursting with rage, and aristocratic dining? What the hell is this? Just then, a quest board appears. Side quest. The Runaway Princess has triggered. Runaway Princess, rank E. Serena, since you entered the dungeon under the protection of soldiers and got lost due to being chased by monsters, escape from the monsters pursuing you. Reward, 100 quest points. The space seems to warp, and a confused Seo-hoon mutters, Monsters? Suddenly, skeletons appear. Those skeletons are terrifying. Behind them, a black knight emerges. Seo-hoon turns to look at the monsters. Damn it! This is my first time seeing this type of monster. Can I even win against them? Lucky, there's a sword. Is that a long sword? Better than nothing. Just then, the Black Knight speaks. Humans, die. Standing tall before Seo-hoon, a notification appears. You have heard the Black Knight's magic-infused voice. You are trapped in an abnormal status. Terror. You will be immobilized for 10 seconds. All stats decreased by 50%. Seon-hun's body freezes. He can't even move a finger. From the start, my survival rate in this battle with these stats and skills was 0 anyway. Whatever. Yeah, come on, kill me. Just do it. He feels like giving up right about now. At the tower floating in the air, a voice rings out. What? Why is Lee Sung-hoon inside Serena? Lucifer thinks silently. Princess Serena is an NPC who plays a key role in conquering the Demon King, so she cannot be occupied by a player. According to the scenario, as soon as the monsters appear, Serena is supposed to run to the other side and join the attack force. But because Lee Sung-hoon is possessing her, he clearly can't retreat to fight. And because of the debuff effect, he could lose his life if that happens, and if Serena dies, this quest will end in total failure. Suddenly, the orb next to him glows. On Seon-hun's side, notifications keep popping up. Polarized reflexes activated. The non-combat skill will temporarily change to combat skill. Princess's dignity activated. Fear reduced. Strength returning to the body. Woman's self-esteem activated. Fear reduced. Sword stance ability activated. Because there's a slight improvement in fighting spirit, strength is returning to his body. Bursting with rage activated. A tough exterior is revealed. Seon-hun exclaims in shock, Polarized reflexes? The skill. Non-combat is temporarily turning into combat? You have a skill like that? Done. He involuntarily flashes a confident smile. This isn't a useless skill after all. Notifications continue. Polarized reflexes activated. Non-combat will temporarily change to combat. Traditional Floran aristocratic etiquette activated. Movement ability returning to normal. Far-away waltz activated. Noble ballet activated. His movements become light. His movements become light and graceful. Empire's traditional dance activated. His movements are no longer stiff, and he starts to sync with the rhythm. Commoner's belly dance activated. Improvisational steps added. Mastery of constant learning activated. The effect of his skills is amplified. As soon as a monster swings, Seon-hun gracefully leans back to dodge, then quickly grabs the hilt of the sword at his waist and decisively stabs through the monster's skull. Seon-hun is now completely bewildered. What? What is this? Is my body moving on its own? It's highly likely this body is moving on its own because the dances have become combat skills. Then Seon-hun's body automatically leaps up and kicks the monster away. Then he lands lightly on the ground. Seon-hun cautiously observes his surroundings. He's still at a disadvantage because there are so many monsters left to deal with. Then he starts using fire attribute spellcasting. Come here. A surge of fire attribute power appears on the blade. Those monsters' bodies start to waver and hesitate. Seon-hun guesses, did they realize the energy is concentrated on this sword? They seem more defensive. Just then, a monster sneaks up to attack him from behind. Seon-hun quickly steps back to dodge, then coldly starts erupting a surge of fire. That power burns the monster that just tried to sneak attack him. Done. He flashes a smile, thinking of Ilion. Good thing I know someone who knows how to use this kind of swordsmanship. Then, Seon-hun uses another boost. The system notification appears. Improvisation activated. Teleportation speed increased. Seon-hun dashes forward just like that. Ahead is the Black Knight, preparing a combat stance. Its eyes flash with a gleam. Then, the Black Knight swings its sword to meet the attack of Seon-hun. Then it slashes, trying to split the space. He quickly jumps to the side to dodge. After attacking, the Black Knight is incredibly shocked. Seon-hun starts moving gracefully. At this moment, he is perched on the Black Knight's arm in a beautifully elegant dance pose. Seon-hun flashes a gentle, teasing smile at his opponent. The Black Knight hisses in anger, "How dare you mock me? Wonderful waltz unlocked. You have synchronized with your steps." After that, the battle turns into a dance. Stunning. The Black Knight screams in rage, "Stop it right now!" Seon-hun casually flicks his hair and says, "Let's finish this perfect performance." Then, his gaze turns sharp. He thrusts his sword forward, and just like that, his blade pierces through the Black Knight's side. Seon-hun gasps. Their gazes met with the Dark Knight's, and then a piercing scream erupted from the knight's flank. Wounds began to spread, followed by a massive explosion in midair. Seon-hun wiped his sweat, looking slightly exhausted. What the? How can it be this strong? It shouldn't be higher than a first circle spell, but is its power being amplified by my high intelligence stat? A notification appeared. You have eliminated all monsters. You have received 8 quest points. Seon Hun marveled. It even gives bonus points after killing monsters? He was shocked when he heard his own voice. He touched his throat. Is this my voice? The quest is still ongoing, so I need to get used to this body. As Jerry said, the difficulty of this dungeon is set to high. So the people who could enter this place are the strongest among the gangsters. How could I end up as a princess? In a Rescue the Princess quest, no less. I'm sure this princess has a crucial role. Aside from defeat the Demon King and the runaway princess, there's another quest I've never seen before. June's Sword. Is this a side quest? Wait, what? The system just notified me. You have completed the quest, the runaway princess. You have received 100 quest points. Suddenly a voice called out from the side. Huh? Is the quest to rescue the princess finished? Seon Hun started and turned in that direction. That voice. It was a group of players. They walked in and gasped in surprise when they saw Seon Hun. The person over there. Isn't that the princess? Just then, a man raised his hand in a salute. Princess Serena, I am glad you are safe. I, Ungram, was very worried about the obstacles that might have hindered you. Seon Hun furrowed his brow, thinking, is Ungram the hero-type NPC that Jerry mentioned? And those must be the other players. Just then, the others crowded around him and started asking, are you a player too? You're so pretty. What's your name? You look just like a princess. Are you a mage? Seeing this, Ungram drew his sword and shouted angrily, you insolent fools! How dare you speak to the princess like that? If you continue to be disrespectful, I, Ungram, a loyal knight of the Florin Kingdom, will not stand for it. Attributes revealed. Strength buff. One of the basic skills that can be used by Third Awakening players on the battlefield. Everyone was stunned when they heard that. Strength buff. Damn it, he's an awakened NPC. Bow down quickly. We can't die at the hands of an NPC. Immediately, all 3 of them bowed down, avoiding eye contact with Seon Hun and Ungram. Seon Hun glanced at Ungram, calculating, wait, what if I just pretend to be an NPC? I'll hide the fact that I'm a player. Plus, this body is an NPC involved in the quest, so the other players will be forced to listen to me. His gaze sharpened. I'll take the lead. From now on, I'm not Seon Hun. I'm a princess of noble birth, a proud woman who fears nothing in this world. Time to get into character. Just then, system notifications appeared. Princess's dignity, activated. Allure, activated. Florin royal etiquette, activated. Noble presence, activated. Deception, skill, activated. Done. Seon Hun pointed his sword forward and spoke, you lowly commoners, how dare you offend a princess like me? The man with glasses panicked and hurriedly begged for mercy. I was blind. Please, princess, spare my life. Seon Hun felt satisfied, thinking, I guess this works. Even my voice has become sharp. Better stay in character to the end. He turned away haughtily. Offending the princess is an unforgivable sin. However, the Demon King is still nearby. So I shall spare your lives. The men immediately bowed and chanted, Thank you, princess. Thank you, princess. Seon Hun sat on the high chair, murmuring, This is even easier than I thought. Right here, right now. I am a delicate princess who holds all the power in my hands. He began to analyze. I heard the people in the maze were scattered because of the raid, but I still don't have much information. However, if I open my mouth and ask, why am I here? My identity as a player will be exposed immediately. Should I ask or not? After deciding, Seon Hun asked, Ungram, there is something on my mind. I am very worried about those who were injured in the Centaur's raid. Ungram smiled brightly and replied, Princess, do not worry. Even though I had to summon the troops in such a hurry, the knights here are very strong. There will be no problem at all. Seon Hun heard this and continued to calculate. Only 100 people have been confirmed so far. Come to think of it, players receive the bodies of the Second Awakening. There aren't many hero-type NPCs, so the difficulty won't be lowered. Then, he started checking the system panel. Ah, right. I still haven't checked the June's Sword quest. The attributes appeared on the screen. June's Sword, level 1, a treasure of the Florin royal family, passed down through many generations. June is a divine sword crafted from ancient power. June's sword has been buried in darkness for many years and will reappear when calamity befalls this world. However, to awaken the sword's true power, one must sacrifice the life of a noble. Princess Serena, the only princess of the kingdom, has agreed to join the organization and is prepared to sacrifice her life for the sword to awaken its true power and save this world. Completion requirements. Awaken the worm sword to receive 10,000 mission points. Seo-hoon read it, then couldn't help but rub his head and wince, joking, "Are you kidding? You want me to risk my life?" Ungram saw his expression and panicked. "Are you all right?" Seo-hoon replied wearily. "I'm just a little dizzy." Ungram quickly steadied him and warned, "Please, take care of your health, Your Highness." Seo-hoon frowned again, thinking, "No, I have to think positively. Even in the worst-case scenario, if I complete that worm sword mission, I'll be rewarded with a whopping 10,000 points." Then he glanced down at the sword at his side. "Is this sword the worm sword?" The attribute window appeared. Worm sword, legendary grade. A good, mysterious sword passed down through generations of royalty. Boosts magic by 200%. Magic can be imbued into the sword if necessary. Can change catalysts if the spell uses fewer than 6 circles. When using skills, magic consumption is reduced by 30%, sealed. Once a skill is used, appearance speed increased by 30%, sealed. When using skills, efficiency increased by 30%, sealed. All stats plus 50, sealed. Can use Hellfire magic, circle level 8, once a month. Can dispel the seal if you sacrifice others, 13, 100,000. Seo-hoon calculated in his heart, "If the gauge fills up a bit, I can unlock it while hunting monsters. 13 out of 100,000. I just killed those 3 Scottons and the Black Knight, yet I only got 13 points? That means if I don't risk my life, I can't unlock the skill. There must be another way." Suddenly, a group of people walked into the hall. Ungram quickly gripped his sword and shouted, "Stop right there! If you dare to come any closer, I will attack! What do you want?" The men who walked in all had arrogant looks on their faces. One smirked. "NPCs should just act like NPCs. I've also awakened a second time here." Suddenly, just then, an old man with white hair and beard, wearing a wizard's hat and holding a staff, walked in behind those 2 arrogant guys. The old man raised his hand and called out, "Ungram, so you really are still alive!" Ungram said happily, "Count Hansen, you survived too?" The Count replied, "I was with the royal guards, so nothing happened to me." "Oh, princess, thank goodness you're safe." Just then, the players noticed Seo-hoon. "The princess? Is she a hero too?" Someone approached Seo-hoon and spoke up. "Forgive me, princess." It was Kong Muhan. He scratched his head and explained that they had just returned from the dungeon, so they weren't mentally stable yet. Seo-hoon was shocked, thinking to himself, "Kong Muhan from Hetafa, stay calm. Right now, Kong Muhan just thinks he's an NPC." Then, he said coldly, "Count Hansen, we need your wisdom now." Count Hansen calmly replied, "In my opinion, we have 2 ways. The first way is to reunite the scattered forces. Although it may take some time, we can cooperate with them to minimize damage. But the Demon King also has the ability to recover during that time also. Furthermore, the army blocking the way, the centaurs, might also be wiped out. The second way is to head to the center of the dungeon. Although this dungeon has many strong monsters, the path to the center is very easy to navigate. Even though we haven't found them yet, we can join the attack force right now." A notification boards appeared to all players. Side mission activated, grade C, completion requirements. 1. Reunite, gather the split attack forces together. 2. Advance, proceed to the center of the dungeon. Reward, reunite, each member of the force gains 30 points. Reward, advance. While heading to the center, point rewards from monsters increase by 5%. Everyone exclaimed in surprise, "There's a mission! What kind of mission is that, Muhan?" Kong Muhan calculated in his heart. The mission is already there, so what other choice is there? This is an S-grade mission, and safety comes first. Then he smiled brightly and spoke up. "We should choose to reunite, shouldn't we?" Seo-hoon coldly interrupted. "No, advance right now." I tried to explain something. "But princess," Seo-hoon asked coldly. "Why? Are you not going to obey my orders?" Then he gave a friendly smile like an NPC. Ungram, standing next to him, cleared his throat. "Ahem." Kong Muhan could only smile bitterly, thinking, "Daring to disobey the princess will cost me my head, huh?" If it was going to be like this from the start, what was the point of asking me to choose? He reluctantly knelt on one knee before Seo-hun. I have been foolish. I shall obey the princess immediately. The system board appeared. Side mission selected. Advance. Until all members of the attack force are gathered, the mission point rate will increase by 5%. Seo-hun spoke up again. All right, let's go now. Count Ungram and Count Hansen protect me on both sides. Everyone obeyed. As you command, princess. Because the number of people in the group increased, the monsters were also more numerous than before. Before the others could react, Kang Muhan, who was in front, had already wiped out all the Andes. Initially, he was only a first-time awakened, but now he had completed all 3 stages of awakening. Seo-hun stood to the side, worriedly thinking, damn it, to break the seal I have to take the initiative to attack. But I'm in the princess's body. If I just rush out and fight, I'll be exposed. Kang Muhan and the others were constantly attacking monsters. Seo-hun turned to Count Hansen. Can you cast a spell, Count? Count Hansen replied, yes, princess. What kind of support do you need? He frowned and reminded him, when I give the order, cast it immediately. Remember, don't let it explode. Just let it hover in the air. He replied, yes. But inside, he couldn't help but be confused. Cast it when she gives the order? Just then, he raised his staff. Boom! A magic circle appeared immediately. Seo-hun pulled out the sword, pointing it straight at the sky. He replied with a simple yes, but he couldn't help but feel uneasy, wondering why they were being so cautious when giving the order. Right then, he raised his scepter, and with a boom, a magic circle instantly appeared. Meanwhile, the young man drew his sword and pointed it straight up at the sky. The mystical sword is absorbing the embedded explosion magic. You've reached the required storage capacity. You can now cast a new spell, but the explosion magic's effects will be nullified. Seo Eun-hyun flashed a confident smile and used the activated charm bomb. The resulting chain reaction instantly increased the archer's accuracy, granting a surge of power. Rushing forward to strike the skeleton monsters, Kang Muhan saw this and turned back, shouting, Hey! Who told you to steal my target? Seo Eun-hyun's response left him speechless. It's your princess, Kang Muhan replied, confused. Why? Seo Eun-hyun winked and explained, You looked like you were in danger, so I thought I'd help you out. Not happy about it? He said with a harmless smile, leaving Kang Muhan unable to say a word in protest. Behind that beautiful smile lay Seo Eun-hyun's sinister expression. Even Kang Muhan couldn't go against the princess, who held the key role in this mission. As long as my cover isn't blown, I'm still the one in control here. Kang Muhan knelt down again, saying, If the princess gets hurt, our reputation will suffer greatly, while thinking to himself, If only I could just back out of this. Seo Eun-hyun kept smiling. I'm fine, it's just a small scratch. I can't just sit by while everyone is giving their all to save the Ungram world. Behind him, someone sobbed, Oh, your profound words are so touching. I want to cry. Seo Eun-hyun secretly rolled his eyes, thinking, Shut up, this is too much. Meanwhile, Kang Muhan wore a calculating smile, thinking, You just watch your back. If I get the chance, I'll kill you right then and there. Seo Eun-hyun was also silently mapping out a plan. Even if there's no immediate gain, I have to keep going. This isn't a loss, it's a huge investment, you idiot. He spoke up and continued forward. I will fully support you from the rear. Kang Muhan quickly stood up and replied, My gratitude, princess. Just then, a surge of energy emanated from a dungeon tunnel. The players moved in together. Their leveling speed was quite fast. Seo Eun-hyun followed behind, deep in thought, knowing that this team's average skill level was quite strong, and there were 3 awakened Stage 3 players here. Suddenly, a guy in a red cloak raised his hand. Wait, everyone back off. There's a trap, I'll handle it. He then started working to disarm it. The red-cloaked man suddenly shouted, Huh? I got 30 points for disarming the trap. Seo Eun-hyun was surprised, thinking, So it's not just about killing monsters. I should come up with a plan. On the other side, monsters suddenly swarmed out and everyone rushed in to fight them, accompanied by shouts, Block the front line, everyone move quickly. Have you never fought in a group before? Archer, aim your fire arrows. A monster faced off against. Mirina let out a chilling cry, then coldly sliced off the monster's head. She thought to herself, My body feels so light. My swordsmanship alone is enough. No need to use my Stage 3 awakened techniques. Just then, the remaining monsters shrieked, You are not allowed to pass here. Marina gripped her sword tightly and unleashed fatal strikes. Up ahead, the monsters broke into a cold sweat, terrified to get near Marina. With her two swords crossed in front of her in a defensive stance, she lunged forward and used her sword control technique to finish off the rest of the monsters. Everyone behind her cheered in awe. Amazing! To defeat them in a blink of an eye! But Marina was lost in thought about her previous battle with Seo Eun-hyun. I'm still too weak compared to him. After this mission, I will challenge him to a rematch. Seo Eun-hyun felt his shoulders shivering and felt confused. Huh? Why am I shivering all of a sudden? Then he asked Count Hansen, how much further do we have to go? The Count stroked his beard and replied, it's hard to say. Even though this is an imperial labyrinth, almost all records have vanished. It's a pity that monsters have occupied this place. But since we have both the princess and warriors, they won't be able to stop us. Seo Eun-hyun was startled. Warriors? Just then a loud shout rang out. Stop! There's a black hole ahead! Come here and line up! Kang Mu-han turned to the group and asked, is our current party not enough to get through? A member replied, there's a monster I've never seen before. He was surprised and repeated, a monster you've never seen before? Two players were hiding in a corner of the tunnel. Inside were two incredibly imposing and terrifying monsters, an undead mage and a hell knight. Kang Mu-han wondered, are they very strong? Count Hansen laughed and said, strong? Of course they're strong. They are among the most powerful immortal creatures. With our current combat strength, I fear we might not win. Kang Mu-han wondered again, so we don't stand a chance right now? It would be better if we brought more people. Seo Eun-hyun chimed in from behind. Don't be so hasty. If we rest here for a while, maybe we'll run into another attacking party. Then they both looked at each other with calculating smiles, like vipers. Later, the group of players started a fire to rest. Kang Mu-han watched Seo Eun-hyun and thought, how can I get rid of this annoying woman? If I just confront her head-on, I'll definitely lose. Since she's the princess, she has too much influence over the heroes. I need to find a way to trick her. Then, Kang Mu-han stood up and noticed a bouquet of flowers on the table. Seo Eun-hyun was gracefully cutting and eating a steak in this situation. He continued to eat elegantly, acting the part of a haughty princess. The food here is just mediocre. Count Hansen, standing nearby, laughed. Ha ha! This old man is no chef, your highness. Kang Mu-han couldn't help but be stunned. Eating steak in the middle of a labyrinth? Seo Hoon also noticed that scrutinizing gaze, turned to look, and then looked up to ask, do you have something to say to me? I broke into a cold sweat and replied, no, your highness. Kang Mu-han smiled to himself, thinking, just as I thought, a princess is still a princess after all. In a situation like this, she still wants to demand royal special treatment. Meanwhile, Seo Hoon was deep in thought about his ultimate goal in this world. This mission is to become the heir of the gods. I know better than anyone how useless I am. What should I do in a place where they can't even reach the peak? There is only one way. Drag others down with me. Even though this method is quite cruel and dirty, its effectiveness cannot be denied. First, I need to calculate carefully and act according to etiquette. If that way is the most beneficial, I can kill everyone here. A guilty conscience? I don't feel such a thing. At worst, I would just have to commit suicide without needing to unseal the cursed sword, though that wouldn't benefit anyone either. Suddenly, loud voices rang out in a panic. What? A raid? It looks like someone has entered the black hole. Kang Mu-han panicked and turned around. What are you guys talking about? No one could have passed through the gate. How could that be possible? Right then, a burst of power erupted, followed by a terrifying monster. It's a team! They're fighting the monster. I think there are 2 more paths on the sides of the black hole. Kang Mu-han rushed forward. Everyone advance! We will attack the enemy from both sides. He also spotted a familiar figure. That person is the magic sword Marina. It seems there is a high-ranking player in that group. Then, Kang Mu-han seriously drew his weapon. He spun his cannon-like weapon, and a wave of power pierced through the Hell Knight's body. Its head began to burn. The body struggled to hold on, but the Hell Knight began to stand up again, to Kang Mu-han's dismay. That ghastly head roared in terrifying fury. Kang Mu-han broke into a cold sweat, worried. It didn't suffer any damage after taking that hit. The Hell Knight suddenly stood up. Kang Mu-han was startled and hurriedly gripped his weapon tight. I then launched straight forward once more. The wave of power pierced through the Hell Knight's body again, the energy exploding and affecting its entire form. Kong Muhan jumped forward. The Hell Knight opened its mouth and roared, then delivered a punch to his stomach. Kong Muhan was hit by that immense power and fell to the ground in agony. He gritted his teeth, worried. Damn it, it blocked me. I thought with this body and premium equipment I could win easily. Seohun then spoke up. Sir Ungram, please support the soldiers and Count Hansen. Keep the necromancer occupied. The two replied in unison. Yes, yes, your highness. Then a group of people rushed to attack the necromancer. Ungram continuously slashed at the skeletons while Count Hansen used magic on the monster. The necromancer, C. Seohun quickly raised his sword and unleashed a blasting strike, waves of power shooting straight ahead. It hit the Hell Knight monster. Seohun pursed his lips, worried. This isn't good. At this rate, everyone will be wiped out. Just then, two people behind him spoke up. This is concerning. We rushed in too fast. I don't think many people will be able to push it back. It's useless. Just watch the situation a bit and let's run. Staying here just means death. The person wearing glasses continued. What should we do if only we survive? If everyone else is slaughtered, the mission can't be completed either. Just then, the archer next to him reminded him, You idiot! We don't necessarily have to complete it. We don't need to kill the Demon King to get mission points. We can get points just by killing monsters. If the two of us can be patient and hunt monsters, even if it's just a little bit, we can still accumulate enough points to get unique equipment. The guy with glasses couldn't help but admire that. Oh, this method. Seohun heard the discussion. They are thinking about running away. That cannot happen. Then, his sharp blade pointed toward those two. Instantly, the archer was decapitated by a slash from his sword. The other one, wearing glasses, hurriedly created a magic circle to defend himself while screaming, You crazy witch, die! Then, Seohun's sword cleanly sliced the other guy's head off, blood splattering everywhere. After dealing with the two, he shouted, Everyone, look here! He held up the two bloody heads and warned, These are the cowards who hid behind those risking their lives to fight and plan to run away. We can forgive those who fail, but not these despicable people. Everyone, fight to the end! The system then announced, Princess Dignity activated, Skill Innocent activated. Both Kong Muhan and his teammates looked over in astonishment. All right, he shouted. Damn it, from now on, I will never forget the face of anyone who dares to run. Everyone, provide proper support. I remember everyone. The others immediately rushed to attack the monsters, obeying quickly. Yes, yes! Then came the attacks launched by everyone. God's Declaration, Elemental Smash, Triple Sword Wave. Seohun was finally a little satisfied. Very good. Even though they are a nuisance, I've boosted their morale. Then he turned to call Count Hansen. Count Hansen understood and nodded. I understand, Your Highness. The two of them unleashed a combined attack together. The explosion blasted as their waves of power created powerful strikes directly into the necromancer monster. Cheers rang out. That's excellent support. Quickly push him back. Stop him. Right then, the Hell Knight stepped forward again. The Hell Knight is chasing us to the hallway. Be careful. They're incredibly strong. Right then, someone lunged toward the throne to attack the Hell Knight. A massive explosion erupted, and the Hell Knight unleashed blue flames from its head. The man in red gasped, The Hell Knight! It was actually pushed back! The person who had just thrown the punch scratched his head, looking bored. Ugh, I was just summoned out of the blue, so I'm in a bad mood. Finish these guys off fast. Seohun saw that expression and pursed his lips, thinking, Who is this human? Just then, Count Hansen nearby exclaimed, Warrior Jihan! He looked over at the warrior in surprise. At that moment, Warrior Li Han leaped forward to attack the Hell Knight. His punch erupted with a powerful dark energy, shattering the monster's body. Even Seohun had to admit, Damn, he's strong. The fight ended in an instant. Including himself, there were 4 NPCs based on the number of those who had reached the second and third stages. Have the rest of them joined up yet? Shortly after, the carcasses of the monsters lay sprawled across the floor. The players began to discuss among themselves, So what do you want to do now? First, we should regroup and level up, don't you think? The Stage 3 awakened. The cruel Saint Kim Ji-hyun crossed her arms and said, What if the princess calls for heroes to go to the front lines? That's the problem. What if everyone just hides in the back for their own safety? The Stage 3 awakened, the great mage Yubeku added. And soon enough, people are going to complain about why we're being so authoritarian. Lee-hyun replied, "No way they'd be that stupid." Becky pushed up her glasses and asserted, "There are plenty of idiots out there, Lee-hyun. What about reorganizing with just the Stage 3 awakened, Becky? That would be way too dangerous." Lee-hyun noticed Lee Han in the background. "But if we have that warrior with us, it wouldn't be half bad." Seo-hoon approached Lee Han and offered a friendly smile. "Warrior Jihan? I have something I need to talk to you about. Do you mind?" But the man just closed his eyes and stayed silent, then casually walked right past Seo-hoon, leaving him incredibly annoyed. He couldn't help but glare at him resentfully. This disrespectful guy, how dare he ignore a princess? Lee Han walked over to the others and said, "If you're done resting, let's keep moving." The players hurriedly replied, Please wait a moment, we're still discussing." He coolly retorted, "Discussing what garbage? Instead of sitting around talking nonsense, you should be warming up your muscles." Becky turned and asked bluntly, "If you're that confident, I'm sure you wouldn't mind taking the lead, would you?" Lee Han glanced back and answered, "No problem. But in that case, which one of you is going to get the quest points you're all so desperate for?" A player exclaimed in shock. How do you know? Are you a player?" Lee Han countered, "I just heard a whisper about it earlier." "Watch your mouth, I'm not that kind of player." The man was still visibly uneasy. "I've never even heard the name Jihan, so who are you?" Immediately, the man was grabbed by the collar as Lee Han coldly reminded him, "Where are your honorifics? Do I look like I'm joking to you?" Seeing that, Seo-hoon worriedly thought, "What is this guy? Is he even an NPC?"